What is going on, everybody? It's episode 863 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, crisis actors. Hello, all of you little Labubus out there. I don't know why that was just like something I felt like I needed to say. It's a term of endearment.
I don't think they know what a Labubu is.
But we're going to talk about Labubus later. So if you don't know already, you'll find out. And we have Tate joining us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tate. I am a Labubu. That's actually the secret's been spoiled.
Do you know what a Labubu is?
It's a slur, I think.
I mean, it could be. But are you familiar with the Labubu craze that's been spreading?
No. I'm in the dark on this.
Might be more of a TikTok thing, and you're into Reels, so
yeah, I'm a Reels
not in your
guy.
algorithm.
I don't know what the freaks over on TikTok are talking about.
I found that we have a trend that works for us. Anytime we want something with views, it has to say delusional TikToker, and
oh, really?
Sky high.
I didn't know that was a formula for us.
Pretty much anything that says delusional.
When the shoe
TikToker
fits.
well. Yeah. Guys, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. You should subscribe on both YouTube and on Rumble, because we got people watching over on both platforms, so you should go ahead and do that. And you should share the content out with everybody that you know, your friends, your family, your loved ones, people in your life that you like, and even those that you hate. I'm sure there's at least one person in your life that you can't stand to talk to, and the only time you ever talk to them is when you're arguing. What I would like you to do is to argue about this show, preferably in the comments.
Do you think that we're a coworker podcast?
No.
Like, what would be a coworker podcast?
It would be something apolitical. I don't think
True crime is definitely
True
coworker.
crime would be a coworker podcast. Any of the Am I the Asshole things where they talk about where they review that. That's coworker.
There was the BuzzFeed Unsolved. Sorry if you like that, but it is a coworker show podcast.
The New York Times Popcast, maybe?
Anything NPR.
NPR, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Pop Culture Crisis.
I don't think we count.
I don't think we count.
Coworker podcast.
I aspire to that.
Yeah,
one day we'll be coworker.
That means you're a corporate success. So
yeah.
I'm kind of down. So I'll sell out. Don't worry, I will sell out, guys. You just offer me the money, I'll sell out. So hit the like button on the video, as I said. Subscribe to the channel, share it out with everybody. Argue with people in the comment section. It is the best way to increase our engagement and help this show grow. So thank you so much for that. So what are we getting into today? Well, it's another day and another chance to dunk on Pedro Pascal, who is probably considered one of the most annoying people in Hollywood at this point. There's a new Vanity Fair article looking to humanize him in a way, and the first two paragraphs just made me want to shove him in a locker a little bit. It's not his fault. It's the way it was written.
I mean, it is his fault.
But yeah, so we're gonna get into talking about Pedro Pascal. Of course, he has, of course, The Materialist out right now, the movie Materialist out right now, and then also he's got Fantastic Four coming out in like a month. So we're gonna get into that. We are also gonna talk about Gen Z looking to bring back Me Too hardcore by increasing the normality of office hookup. Remember, in a world of people saying normalcy, you should say normality. It's different. They want to increase hookup culture at work, which just seems like a recipe for lawsuits to me, but what do I know? We're also going to talk about the rise of femcels again, which we did talk about once, but we have to save them. That's what they're saying.
They've been rising for a while.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that. We're getting into other stuff.
Femcels unite.
We got a 20 there.
This was from King. We're going to hear the new Crisis Party sound finally.
We didn't even get a Crisis Party yesterday at all, so...
Yeah.
I can't answer that question, but and somebody asked if I was drinking water, which was funny because no, it's not. But so for
what do you mean?
For the last 4 weeks, I've drank nothing but water on this podcast. And today, somebody says, "Is Brett drinking water?" Character growth. No, I'm actually drinking an energy drink today.
Oh, it's just clear.
It's just clear.
Oh, wow.
So this is like the first energy drink in like
Wait, what made
weeks.
What made you cave?
I'm like, I don't care anymore.
Oh, okay.
I was like, fuck it.
You just gave up on life.
I just gave up on not having the sugar.
There's been a lot of giving up.
Actually, never mind, because this is like a zero sugar one. But like, I'm like, is life really worth it without the boost of energy in the morning?
You saw Israel and Iran throw in the towel. You're like, yeah, whatever.
It's like if the ceasefire won't hold, and my ban on energy drinks won't hold either. No, actually,
they're doing.
I broke down on Sunday and had one when we were out. So I was like, I made it a month basically. So that's pretty good.
But then you gotta finish the rest of what you have.
That's the thing. I have a whole fridge full of them that have just been sitting there for a month because I used to have like a monthly delivery that came from Amazon, so that I didn't have to order you know,
Yeah.
if you buy it at the store, it costs more.
Yeah, I
So,
finally decided to do a cut. That I had like a big tray of brownies sitting on my kitchen counter.
Well, you
So I
gotta
just-
finish what you have.
No,
I
I
threw 'em in the
throw it
backyard.
away. So I throw it whenever that
You're
happens to
kidding.
me. Whenever I go through a phase, what it is like I feel like a piece of shit because I've been eating too much sugar or too many sweets, and then I throw away everything. It drives Olivia nuts.
No, I
I'm
threw it-
appalled.
Yeah.
I am absolutely
Like
appalled.
I literally look at a picture of the starving kids in Africa and I go, fuck those kids.
Yeah.
If I ever have junk food in the house, like I am 100% gonna finish what I have.
Well, I threw mine in like my back garden. I have like a little back garden, and they've been out there for like 3 days. And this morning I looked at them and I went, they still look edible.
I know. If it's like something on the top of the trash can, like it's
Yeah,
not
you're
touching
like,
the
I
other
mean,
trash.
it's not contaminated. Will this kill me? No.
B Hammer says 0 sugar with the face like this. Yeah, and this one doesn't have the erythritol, which is supposed to like blow your heart up. Like, that's the stuff that the white
okay.
monster has it, and it's like
Who
my heart
cares?
would just explode. So you don't.
It's
drink
about
the white monster.
moderation.
Exactly. So. I figure 1 a day for a while, you know, would be fine. But thank you for at least noticing, like, the day after I gave up, the all water during the show. So we got a bunch of stuff to get into. If you guys are ready, we can just go ahead and get started. Mary, you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Ready?
Ready.
Go for it.
Chris Brown was recently experiencing some legal troubles in the UK, but his Breezy Bowl tour continues nonetheless. This was over an incident that actually occurred back in 2023, where he assaulted a music producer in a nightclub in London with a tequila bottle, just smashing this guy over the head with a tequila bottle, kicking him, punching him on the ground. And then he left the country shortly after, so he never got charged for what he did. When he showed up for his world tour back in May, they finally arrested him for these charges. Then he was released on a $5 million bail, and his tour has continued since then. But clearly, you know, that just means that he needs to go to therapy or do some kind of like self-work and journaling and meditation so that he can grow past his former ways. I doubt that that's true. But on this tour, he has been engaging in the most unhinged behavior with his fans, both on stage and at VIP meet and greets. I first want to show a video of a moment that I suppose makes a regular appearance at his concerts. He puts a female fan on this couch and he just gets on top of her.
That postmodern monstrosity of a couch is the real offender in this, if I'm being honest.
This is just what they consider normal at a Chris Brown show.
What are
This
those,
is insane!
What are those pants he's wearing?
And why is he wearing like a light up, you know,
It's like a laser tag vest.
Yeah. And he has like the rhinestone shoes to match.
It's kind of a tough fit.
It like, what is this moment for her? Is this like doing something for her?
Who's he?
So weird.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna lie. The laser tag vest is the best part.
And then I think he starts making out with her, but you can't really tell at the end of the video.
The laser tag vest is the best part.
That
Like,
was at laser tag.
You think it's like he plays you in laser tag, and if he wins, he just beats the crap out of
Yeah.
you. Like,
He's probably on stage going, "Brrr." He's like, oh.
Yeah.
he's
what's
not
that?
even like stripping or doing any sort of like, he's just literally on top of her. Is that supposed to be funny or is it supposed to be hot or like what?
see, I think that him and Usher have a group chat, the Menace group
They
chat.
do this. They ruin relationships.
Like they make sure to know that every woman they do this to is married.
Well, it's because they're watching the GOAT of making people uncomfortable, Kevin Gates, and they're like, that's the top dog. He's like spitting in people's mouths and stuff.
He is? I didn't know Kevin Gates did that.
Yeah, dude's bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I literally watched like a video of him and I felt assaulted myself.
I cannot imagine the cold sores that follow.
Oh, it's
like,
I mean,
that's-
it's like the Black Plague.
Yeah.
We got a 20 from Shane H. Wilder.
Didn't see that one. I tried to get a crisis party yesterday, but this is a team sport. I can't carry all the crisis actors on my shoulders. Some of y'all could use Ozempic.
Whoa!
He does. I mean, Shane H. Wilder does oftentimes carry the
Shane,
weight of
we
the crisis
appreciate
party,
you.
the crisis actors on his shoulders. So we also have this photo.
Yeah, these are from the meet and greets. This is a recent one. This woman paid $1,200 for Chris Brown to choke her while straddling him.
You just know that she's a nurse
Talk about FOMO.
with 2 kids.
I don't think a nurse has a face tattoo.
She manages
lie.
she manages an AutoZone.
She's a nurse.
She is the assistant manager at an AutoZone in Dayton, Ohio.
Like,
Nurse.
you're paying $1,200 for this in this economy?
Do you get to pay?
Fine, registered nurse.
Do you get to pay extra for the meet and beat, where you get up there and just get thrown around?
Yeah.
Or you gotta like fight him or something.
Is that the appeal? You know, he's like a bad boy with a past.
Charlie Stevenson says Rihanna really dodged a bullet, but that's the problem. She didn't dodge a bullet. That's the opposite of what happened.
We got a $100 super chat from Not That John Stewart saying Shane is a slacker.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for the crisis party, but we won't have any negative talk about Shane.
We love Shane here.
Shane is a
Shane
great
counter signaling going on.
Yeah, he often carries.
It's gonna be a super chat arms race between those two, just going at
Volume up. We're good. Okay. I want to show some other examples from Chris Brown's meet and greets in the past. This is not a new thing for him. This is a track record. Here he is groping their asses. In another one, he's fully picking this woman up. Like, I just don't understand. And a lot of these women, they are in relationships, and you find out after the fact that, you know, their boyfriend, fiance, husband, whoever, finds out that they did this.
And they're like, why would you do that?
He's literally destroying people's relationships.
Loves it.
I would like, you know, Carl Lentz, the Hillsong pastor, the disgraced Hillsong pastor. I think that's the next evolution for the megachurch pastors, is they'll have similar.
That's why all the Instagram reels making fun of megachurch pastors are like Chris Brown videos of him on like harnesses and wires.
Yeah.
Can't we just like go back to the days where things were simple and like Justin Bieber would do One Less Lonely Girl, just give a girl some flowers and sing. Like, doesn't have to be weird and sexual.
See, that's why I think he wants to go back on tour. I think he wants to do that to make Haley angry.
He's had some interesting performances with female artists while married.
Yep.
I also like the photo of the straddling, because it looks like it's in like a dining room of a restaurant.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
On the beach.
Now we're talking.
Speaking of Justin, he's standing on business.
That was tough.
That was perfect timing.
That was pretty hard.
So, Maddie Healy has also been known for stunts with fans at concerts, not for paid meet and greets. He just does this shit for free. He grabbed a fan's hand one time and started sucking her thumb in the middle of a concert. He has a controversial take on these meet and greets. He thinks that
he says, "Your body, my choice."
He thinks that the fans should actually have to fork over the cash in person, face to face with the artist.
Yeah. So it's more like an act of prostitution.
So you just like put it all like out there. You know what this is. It's very transactional.
They just approach you.
If you want to do paid meet and greets, do them. I stand by you, but you take the money. If you're an artist and you do paid meet and greets, do it cash, and you take the money off the fan. I challenge you to do that. Don't put it on
in
the
the moment.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
don't put it on the label.
Mate. I don't take
put it on the
cash only.
Don't put it on the company. Don't put the responsibility on someone else.
Can we get the Apple Pay over here, please, mate? I got a fan who wants to shake my hand and get an autograph.
Right?
It's fucking gross.
It's absolutely fucking gross that you might now young people being convinced by adults that want to make more money and go, oh yeah, sure. So I'm not judging them. I'm saying, trust me, do a paid meet and greet where it's 20 quid a meet and greet, and every single fan, before they touch you, go, let me see that 20. And you'll do it for 2 minutes, and you'll never fucking do it again, because you'll realise that it's disgraceful.
Yeah.
And all that lot, that Jared Leto crowd who promote all that, it's a fucking abomination.
Greatest rapper of all time.
Lil Wayne.
I kind of see where he's coming from.
So the idea is like he's saying that the celebrity will never do it again if they have to actually pay, like have them hand them the money.
Talking about Chris Brown, I mean Chris Brown would totally still do it. Like
yeah.
he
they would use it as a prop.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, maybe some of the artists wouldn't do meet and greets anymore if it were just the transparent, like, forking over the cash. But Chris Brown 100% would. I don't know. I mean, maybe the women would find it embarrassing, though.
Nah.
I mean, it would
No.
be it would be embarrassing to approach this artist and they're like, and they hold their Venmo QR code out.
I mean, these people clearly have no sense of shame, so I don't think it would
I mean,
stop
this
them.
is a viable career path for a lot of people who work in science fiction. They go work the con circuit. They sign autographs and stuff. The same thing is true of like independent wrestlers. They go to conventions, and people
Ooh.
pay money for
Yeah.
autographs and stuff like that. But I don't do that, so I never imagined. Do they just hand them the 20? No, I guess you pay ahead of time.
I had a friend. He worked at like a comic store, so he had an exhibitor pass to DunderCon in like New Jersey,
DunderCon?
and it was the
So it's an
office
office,
themed
yeah.
Comic Con.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, which was like, I mean, the human capital on display there was disturbing, but the interesting, I like the idea of Brian Bumgardner doing a similar photo opportunity as Chris Brown, where you can. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Go to like the Steve Carell meet and greet, and he just gropes all of them.
Yeah.
I don't
That would-
see it.
I could see that for like a Cuomo fundraiser. I think that would work.
The I'm Italian con.
Yeah. Italian con, you just go there and get assaulted for 2 hours. This place sucks.
They have it in an old folks' home.
Yeah, it's just like random like Italian celebrities. They're just groping people.
Wouldn't have been out of
It's
place.
part of their culture.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been out of place in the 90s.
Oh my gosh. It's just like, oh, I gotta do the Sly Stallone exhibit next. It sucks.
It's definitely possible that it would cut back on people spending money on stuff like this because celebrities wouldn't be willing to do it if they had to take the money themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
The ones with the parasocial relationships with their fans where they want to feel like they're actually friends, they know each other, they have this special connection.
Yeah.
I don't think they would do it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I
it
don't think so.
destroys the ruse, it ruins the immersion experience for the
Mm.
fan.
All right, let's move on.
If you don't know what a Labubu is, don't worry, I will educate you on this. Labubus are basically the Beanie Babies of the 2020s. This is a consumerist craze that is spread all over TikTok, and celebrities have worn Labubus. Countless people are literally fighting, they're brawling to get access to limited edition Labubus. These are monstrous plush toys that are sold by a Chinese company called Pop Mart in their Monster series. And they look like this. Pull up the examples here, Brett. There are a lot of keychains that you put on purses. I've seen them on school bags, but I've also seen these keychains on, 60,000 Birkin bags from Hermes because it's a status symbol. And it's selling based on the scarcity of these items, but also the weird connection to them emotionally. Like you kind of create a relationship with your Labubu. It's like a baby. And if you see the videos of people fighting for these at stores, it is literally like Stanley Cup level pandemonium multiplied by 100. I have an example of one of these brawls breaking out at the Pop Mart store. People are just like swinging fists left and right for these things. Police called. The security is like barely even trying to stop this. Later in the video, you see the full version. So I guess every guy in this store wants to get one for his girlfriend.
I mean, that just proves that there's good men out there. That's what that tells me.
Right. Just like fully.
Where have all the good men gone? They're at the Labubu store.
Right.
Yeah, they're down brawling at the Labubu.
Right.
All full of boo-boos.
Is this in the UK?
I think
Yeah.
so.
See, no officers don't have guns. That's why this stuff is happening.
Imagine this
Yeah.
happening in the U.S. You just start
Now,
lighting everyone up.
Pop Mart made
I mean,
a
this happens at
decision.
Disney World every so often.
Pop Mart made a decision to temporarily take Labubus off shelves because of safety concerns for their customers fighting over them, and they want to prevent any potential liabilities. people getting hurt in the process of fighting for a Labubu.
See, if they were smart, what they do is they turn these into sanctioned bouts.
Yeah.
Like every day
Get the
at
Nevada
Pop
Gaming
Mart,
Commission involved.
every day at Pop Mart is Black Friday, basically. Like, this is what Black Friday used to be before e-commerce existed.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, life was better when moms had to, like, brawl to the death
for
like,
flat
a
screen TVs or, like, blenders at Walmart.
That was the same price as it was before Black Friday.
Yeah.
They just put a new sign on it.
Oh, it was the best. It
Like when people almost died for products, life was better.
Dude, every Walmart looked like a FEMA camp for a week. It was
because
awesome.
like people need that chance to just let loose, you know? Like,
Yeah,
they have this pent up aggression they need to let out.
The whole Purge movie missed that. We already kind of have that.
So these are Chinese products, and one theory about Labubus is this is a way for China to exert cultural control over the West, not by government means, but by consumerism and spreading the influence of their creativity overseas. There are countless headlines. Labubu plushies aren't just toys. They're a brand new frontier for Chinese soft power. The New York Times, can this not particularly cute elf make China cool? China has struggled to improve its image, especially in the West, and it may be scoring some victories now.
So it's this and iShow Speed.
Literally. That is true that China's had a huge soft power issue for a long time. I mean, they're getting laps ran around them by like Sweden.
It's a form of Chinese soft power driven by fandoms and consumer culture rather than government strategy. Its appeal is rooted in emotional resonance, scarcity marketing, and celebrity endorsements. Lots of K-pop idols were seen with these, and now it's spreading to American celebrities as well, making China appear more creative internationally. It reflects broader trends in consumer behavior, signaling China's growing role as a creator of cultural desire. So, I mean, any random consumer product that you pick up in your house, it'll probably say made in China on it. But Labubu makes it part of the selling point of the product that it's from China, and they created this thing that you're dying to get. And it's like, if you don't have a Labubu, like, you're a loser.
So it's like the opposite marketing campaign of companies that try to do like Made in America.
Yes, literally yes.
These types of think pieces are why I hate my job sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Like reading that article, I'm just like, ugh.
And there's this new term, emotional luxury. So,
what do they mean by that?
Cuteness has a particular emotional effect on people, and if you make a luxury, scarce item like a Labubu into this hot commodity for people, they're looking to buy it not because it's actually expensive, but because it has an emotional luxury in the product.
Well, that explains the violence we're seeing, because, you know, people, it's like when something's so cute, you want to destroy it.
Yeah,
so
there's some cute aggression on display.
Maybe these things are just so adorable that everyone just starts throwing hands.
Okay, but pull up an example of the Labubus again. Because I think it's obvious that these things are not cute. They're actually horrendously ugly. Like, that's kind of the point, with their pointy teeth and their weird, angry face. It looks like, you know, if you buy a Labubu, you're gonna hear it pattering around your house when you turn the lights off at night. It's like Elf on a Shelf, but it's on your purse. Yeah. Horrifying. Yeah. Now, people are saying there's an even more sinister reason why Labubus are growing in popularity, and it has something to do with Satan. The Labubus allegedly are designed after the demon Pazuzu, as you can see in this comparison here. And the caption says, religious psychosis is a very real thing. And this was a post that was going viral on Facebook, actually. If you're collecting Labubu, you're not just building a cute collection, you're gathering pets of the underworld. Every Labubu you own brings you one step closer to owning a piece of hell itself. These mischievous little devils aren't just figurines or toys. They're known to be Lucifer's favorite companions, feeding on the souls of the damned. Each Labubu you collect is a symbol of chaos, darkness, and the power of the underworld. Keep collecting, and you might unknowingly summon something darker, a direct connection to Lucifer's den.
Pazuzu is shredded. I want to know his workout routine.
I'm gonna be so disappointed if this is the mark of the beast. Like, it's been billed as this big elaborate thing. If it's just this little creepy Eastern European looking
It
thing.
might be. Because I think a lot of people start out as Labubu haters, and then slowly but surely they
you get
buy
won
in.
over. Yeah. Now, if I would get offered a Labubu in combination with a Chris Brown meet and greet, then that could maybe move the needle for me. Because the fighting, I mean, it's like there is a marketing crossover option
For
there.
sure. Yeah. And the resale values on these things is absolutely insane. If you're one of the people who gets a limited edition Labubu and you try to resell it, these things are going for like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars online. That's how sought after they are at this point. And I just don't understand it because they're so ugly. I'm starting off as a Labubu hater, and I'm going to stay that way. I'm always going to be a Labubu hater. It's incredibly, it just seems like grotesque.
Yeah.
It's like meant to be offensive to the eyes.
They're going for a lot of money on eBay.
What are you seeing?
I mean, like the low end, common gray loot ones are like $30. These would be $5 at a Walgreens if they weren't Chinese.
Part of the way that they get you to be a repeat customer is they sell these surprise Labubu boxes. So it's a mystery which one you're going to get. And if you want, the mint green Labubu and you don't get the one that you wanted in the mystery box, you're just going to keep coming back for more. It's a never-ending cycle of consumerism.
Those poor guys out there that have to go fight to the death in Thunderdome so that they can get their girlfriend one of these.
Brave guys.
Yeah, like I don't want to hear any of this bullshit about how there aren't any good men out there if they're all willing to, gladiator to the end.
Yeah, you come home, she opens the box, she's like, I wanted mint green.
And there's like, she's like, why is there blood on it?
You just start stretching out. You're like, I gotta go back now. All right. Taping your knuckles.
Well,
up.
like the key would be, I guess, like if you're like a grown up, would be to like go right after school, so you have to fight kids rather.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy.
It's like that way you don't have to get.
Sadly, I feel like these are more popular with adults.
Oh
than
yeah.
kids.
Oh, 100%.
I'm sure.
And if you criticize it, they'll be like, "Why are you criticizing a toy for kids?" Like, no.
It's like, just let people enjoy things.
No, I will never let anyone enjoy anything.
Nothing
I will
makes
always
me
be
more angry than seeing people experience joy and happiness. It infuriates me.
Truly, like with the fashion videos I've been putting out lately, people are like, or you could just let people wear whatever they want because it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
Like, no, it hurts me. It
does.
actually hurts me. I've seen Labubus in real life.
It's a false argument, anyways. Like letting you hate doesn't hurt them.
No.
So
if you want to wear a Labubu on your purse, it's it's only going to make you a fashion victim, and it's only going to send you to hell. So I mean, I'm good. I'm safe.
Have fun with that. Have fun.
I'm marked safe. Okay. but like, this is just outrageous. How people are obsessed with these things. It's demonic.
I mean, I want the actual Pazuzu doll. I don't want the. I want the doll.
It's just Pazuzu in disguise.
I don't want that. I want the actual Pazuzu doll. That's what I want.
So this is the newest like micro trend. That's what they're all called now. You cannot possibly keep up with every micro trend because everything you wear is always going to be out of style by the time you get it in the mail from like AliExpress or PopMart or Temu or whatever. And now people are talking about the death of the micro trend, and it's being replaced by curating your own vibe of timeless pieces, and Gen Z is kind of turning to capsule wardrobes and stuff like that. And Gen Z has also popularized the term de-influencing. There are tons of videos called like, let me de-influence you from Labubus. And it's just, the point of it is like, when you're in the midst of like a consumerist brainwashing, you can catch yourself and save yourself from making the purchase by watching de-influencing content. That's just somebody telling you like, this is ugly, you don't want it, and you don't need it. Yeah. Because you can't talk yourself off the ledge. You have to get someone else to do it for you, to deprogram you.
You're like, oh, maybe I don't need food. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
De-influence me from food.
All right, let's move on then. What would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see cute first.
Okay. All right. What do we got here? This one's from Chippy. This is Hermes. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. He has tummy troubles and turned med time into a towel tantrum. He's healthy now, and his grumpy mug shot is one of my favorite photos.
Is that a tooth?
That's a tooth.
Oh,
Kind of looks like a Labubu.
I love it.
Could
No, I would never say that looks like a Labubu. That
Very
would be an
cute.
insult.
Thank you for sending that
Very
in.
cute.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and look at Cringe of the Day. Here we go.
Excuse me? Can you record me really quick? It's for my girlfriend.
Hi, baby! I miss you! I miss you so bad. There's so many people, but I miss you so much. There's so many people. I love you. Mwah.
She's gonna love it.
That guy
that's
would go
awesome.
to bat for a Labubu.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He'd
like-
be in the front line.
I mean, he'd be one of those ones I suggested who'd go fight a kid, but like he would definitely he's not gonna go take on a full-grown adult. But all right, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. All right,
Awesome.
let's get started.
Pedro Pascal fatigue has reached an all-time high, but the psyop to convince you that he is the ultimate daddy of the internet continues with a new interview in Vanity Fair. He's posing for Vanity Fair in his underwear. Pull up that photo for me, Brett.
This one first. This was the cover of Vanity Fair, and then we have this photo.
What the fuck is this? I don't understand. This is our sex symbol of the 21st century. This is our heartthrob in Hollywood.
Well, it looks like the meme of the guy in the pool.
I don't understand this at all.
There's a similar photo of me, and people use it to blackmail me. I've lost a lot of money.
Every
know-
time they get a new guest on Timcast.
Yeah.
it's,
They're like, hey, I better come on. Or, oh, fine, I'll wire you a Labubu, I promise. Just don't release the photo.
Interview in Vanity Fair is the puff piece of all puff pieces. You've never seen anything like it. It's titled, "Everyone Wants a Piece of Pedro Pascal." Count me out. Never accuse me of wanting a piece of Pedro Pascal. I want no part in this. They say the actor's emotional depth on screen and exuberance everywhere else has skyrocketed him to the top of every director's wish list and made him a sex symbol in middle age.
I think it's okay. I'm gonna be completely harsh here because I'll always kind of be a sucker for a story of somebody setting out to achieve something and achieving it, but maybe don't get into the part where basically everybody subsidized his life into his 30s until later in the article, because he's like, all these women in my life basically paid for me to eat and.
Well, he was talking about being a struggling
I
actor
know.
throughout his 20s and 30s, and it came up that he basically couldn't afford food, and all of these people were bankrolling him.
And that's fine, but I feel like get farther into the article before you do that. Also, we're gonna be biased because we think he's annoying. So
He is annoying.
They're the people that already like him will take that sign of struggle as something to be looked at positively, and maybe in some people it would, but you're always gonna be biased by whether you like somebody or not, and nobody here likes him.
They also note that he chose to accompany this journalist for the interview at a Palestinian restaurant in solidarity with Gaza.
See, I want these actors to start getting say what you want about Macklemore, but at least he's got niche political stuff that he gets
Yeah.
into from time to time, where he's talking about the Sudan.
Right.
And I'm like, sweet. I want to read tweets where I don't know how I'm supposed to feel based on what you said.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't remember what that thing was
Pedro's,
the other week where I sent you some tweet and I'm like, I don't know how, I literally have no idea what this is supposed to mean. It was something like the Prime Minister of Italy made a face at Macron and everyone knew what that meant. I didn't know what that meant.
Oh.
And I'm like, I kind of liked that
She,
I didn't know
rolled
what
her
that
eyes
meant.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
but I'm like, is that because she agreed with him? Because they said something at the G7, or was it because she doesn't like I don't know, and I like that I don't know.
Yeah.
At least be interesting with your
I do
political
kind of
takes.
envy, if you could just not know anything and you could just read the news cycle for the first time. You're like, this Trump guy's pretty funny.
Pedro just hops on every bandwagon, and his activism, as they say, it's part of what makes him sexy. Fans on the internet famously refer to Pedro as daddy or zaddy, meaning he's a handsome, stylish older man they can imagine dominating them in a way they would not object to. In a video for Vanity Fair in the Lie Detector series, he laughed off the nickname, saying, "Daddy is a state of mind. I'm your daddy." He was being playful, but his eye contact with the camera was so transfixing that some observers only heard the second sentence.
By the way, I put a poll up for everybody today. You have to get stuck in a room with one person, either Pedro Pascal or Bella Ramsey. You must pick between the two. So far, Bella Ramsey is winning with 67%.
Bella Ramsey, his young co-star on The Last of Us, dislikes the daddy label the minute it was affixed to Pedro. I felt worried for him. I want to protect him from that whole joke of becoming the internet's daddy. I was like, I don't want everyone to refer to you as that and see you as that. You're so much more. And then they don't stop there. They're trying to convince you that Pedro Pascal is actually the paragon of masculinity in media today. They mention comments from his co-star in Fantastic Four, Vanessa Kirby, who plays Sue Storm. She says Pedro's allure is his immense vulnerability. He doesn't have armor, so he shows himself to you straight away, and you trust that person because he's revealing himself to you in this very brave way, stunning and brave. And one director has a unified theory about why so many people are connecting with Pedro, who struggled to get hired for decades. I think that's what we want in masculinity. It's not just about how rugged Pascal is on screen. It's also his cheeky fun with fashion. Chic black shorts and lipstick red Valentino to the Met Gala. Saint Laurent thigh-high boots to the Last of Us Season 2 premiere. It's how he bopped at the SNL 50 concert. It's how he publicly celebrated his younger sister, Lux Pascal, when she came out as transgender in 2021 and remains a passionate advocate of the community. Just how smitten is the world with this actor? While hosting the Critics' Choice Awards, Chelsea Handler cited 2023 as the year everyone became horny for Pedro Pascal. A New Yorker cartoon featured a therapist reassuring his client, "It's not strange at all. Lately, a lot of people are reporting that their faith in humanity is riding entirely on whether or not Pedro Pascal is as nice as he seems."
Yeah.
So it's not just his rugged good looks that are convincing everyone he's the internet's daddy. It's his activism. It's his care for the downtrodden of the world. It's his emotional vulnerability, how easily he cries in interviews.
Real
it's
people
that
don't
little
care
gay
about
lisp that he has when he's supposedly talking to his love interest in a rom-com.
And it's like, too, they're calling him. Could you imagine if you walked in, you saw your dad standing like this on his bed, you'd be like, "Oh, they're getting a divorce. It's over." Yeah. That's not the image you want to send.
It's not giving what it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's giving like I gave up.
Right, but you know, Pedro Pascal, it just has to capitalize on this nice guy image when in reality he's quite a bitter person. One thing they also mentioned in this interview is that he is basically a Reddit atheist. On the way to Robert Downey Jr.'s house, he points at graffiti spray painted on a wall that says faith, and as an agnostic, practically atheist, scrunches up his face in mock disgust. So, I mean, I think this person is carrying around a lot of bitterness, actually.
What do they mean by mock disgust?
Like he's pretending to put on more disgust than he actually feels, but, you know, the message comes across. He's actually a very angry person, and he's not the nice guy that he seems to be on the surface.
Yeah, like it's just simmering underneath.
Right.
Like waiting.
As with every male feminist.
The funniest person in the world is the one who knows all of his triggers and makes sure to bring them up at certain times. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He has some aggression just waiting.
The only emotion he actually shows is just zest.
Yeah.
That's the only
he's
one.
zest personified.
Yeah.
Now, I think that him not being a very nice person is perfectly demonstrated in his comments about J.K. Rowling in this interview. Just a month ago, he referred to her as a heinous loser for her take on the UK Supreme Court's definition of biological sex. They went into this in the interview. Pascal is forthright on Instagram about his progressive values, posting about his horror over political headlines. The week before our meeting, the UK Supreme Court has released a landmark anti-trans ruling limiting the legal definition of a woman to the basis of biological sex. J.K. Rowling, who has largely funded the UK's war on the trans community, celebrated the ruling in a cruelly glib Instagram post, the one where she's posing with the whiskey and cigar. Pascal, ferociously protective of his baby sister Lux, who, by the way, is biologically male, called out J.K. Rowling's rotten glee as heinous loser behavior. Some tried to frame it as a man trying to bully a woman into silence. And then he says, this is a comment from his sister. It is heinous loser behavior. And he said that as the older brother to someone saying that our little sister doesn't exist. You're saying that trans people don't exist, but we do exist. No one said that you didn't exist. We just said you couldn't exist in a locker room for women. As it grew into a larger story, Pedro Pascal felt briefly like that kid that got sent to the principal's office for behavioral issues in public schools in Texas, feeling scared and thinking, what did I do? But something else worried him more. The one thing I would say I agonized over a little bit was just, am I helping? Am I effing helping? It's a situation that deserves the utmost degree of elegance so that something can actually happen and people will actually be protected. I want to protect the people I love, but it goes beyond that. Bullies make me effing sick. So J.K. Rowling is just a big, mean bully. She's just a big, mean poopy head.
Yeah.
And that's why he had to stand up for the trans community and wear the Protect the Dolls shirt at an official Disney promo event on the red carpet, by the way, which he should be fired for, but he won't because double standards.
I think his parents, seeing how he turned out, how his younger brother turned out, they have to be kicking themselves over moving to America like every day.
Sad. Well, they also went into a bunch of his childhood trauma in the interview, and they had this part of the interview where
being artistic in school.
Yeah, he was like bullied for being a theater kid, and he's always been an attention seeker.
Well, his whole family are like psychos. Like his dad, there was a story where his dad stole eggs from a fertility clinic and would like implant them in women without them knowing.
Oh my gosh, because I knew he was a fertility doctor, but they didn't mention that.
No, it's like that's not a rumor either. If you go to his Wikipedia, it's probably on there. It was like a big
insane.
scandal, and like his whole family were like all these like socialist revolutionaries and stuff.
Yeah, because they like fled Pinochet.
Yeah.
Only to spread socialism in the West. But you know, they have this overwrought conversation between the journalist and Pedro Pascal where they're relating to each other over having lost their mothers to suicide in young adulthood, and they're like, you know, Pedro has a tattoo of his mother's signature on his right wrist. I have a tattoo of my mother's name on my left. And then they literally did this. They touched their wrists because they're a couple of theater kids and needed to feel like they were in a coming of age movie. And that's supposed to humanize him and make him, you know, relatable because he's gone through struggles, right? He used to be poor and a struggling actor who couldn't make rent, and he, you know, was a bartender and a waiter and all these things. And everyone he knew for all these years, every time that he tempted the thought of having a real job, they were like, no, you're too talented. You can't give up now. And it turned out to be worth it for him with his big break in Game of Thrones and all that. But I kind of wish that he did end up, you know, going to school and having a real job.
An accountant, just mad all the time.
Yeah, he said I thought about being a nurse.
Yeah.
For our sake, I would hope, you know,
maybe
an alternate universe.
Fertility doctor.
Yeah.
Following his father's footsteps.
Well, one of the ideas he considered was going to nursing school. Yeah. And maybe if he had done that, we wouldn't have to deal with Pedro Pascal being annoying in headlines constantly. But.
It is interesting how much you have to work in Hollywood to really make it, because he worked pretty consistently over the years. He started in 96, but he didn't, like he started in 96. He didn't get any work from like 01 to 04. Now, that doesn't mean he didn't do anything, but like nothing that was like SAG after like accredited is on his IMDb.
He was at like local theaters.
Yeah, like likely doing stuff like that, not making a lot of money. But then, you know,
he was literally living the life of the broke ex-boyfriend in Materialists.
Yeah. Once he hit late 30s, he was working so consistently he was fine.
It's ironic now, like, he was so miscast in Materialists because he was the rich Mr. Right, like, ultimate bachelor of Manhattan. And Chris Evans is the broke 37-year-old struggling actor who can't make rent. Whereas that was literally Pedro Pascal's life, and Chris Evans is obviously better looking. It would have been better for them to just reverse the roles in that movie.
All right, let's do some super chats, and we got a 20 there.
From Darcy Manier, Pedro would talk less. Yeah.
Oh, so then Bella Ramsey in the room that you're stuck in.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but then he's gonna like try to touch your wrist.
No, but he wants he always wants to like get into a tearful heart to heart with everyone he meets. So I feel like I would be like emotionally violated by him.
Yeah, I just run in a circle.
You have to pay for the Pedro Pascal meet and greet, but he just like dumps on you for 30 minutes.
Like you pay the money, but he just trauma dumps.
It's like, my dad was kind of distant. I don't.
He was too busy getting other people pregnant.
He was like bullied in middle school. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Taco Tate Tuesday, Brett, Mary, and Tate. People seem to like Mary singing Benson Boone short. I don't know if it's because of her singing or snark. It's both.
Probably a little bit of both.
I have a true talent for that."
Yes, you do.
Adam said, "PCC needs their own bobbleheads."
I wonder how much it would take to make those. I'm sure it's expensive. Anything's better than a Funko Pop.
Yeah, yeah. Jessica floated the
Rejecting
idea
it.
of giving us little chibi characters for a while, and I kind of figured it wouldn't rub people the right way.
PCC Labubu.
I don't want this. I don't want this at all. Sorenko Productions said Labubu is a PSYOP.
Yeah.
I've been saying.
There was a Rumble rant from Sorenko. It says, "Can't wait for the headline: Trump bombs third Labubu factory, secretly harboring Chinese weapons of war."
I can get behind
Yeah,
that,
if we have like Labubu WMDs, it's over for us.
No, like Labubus are actually weapons of war.
It's
just
psychological
warfare.
I read that headline about like trying to connect Labubu to like soft power, and I almost left. I almost walked out. I'm like, y'all
It's their #1 cultural export.
I'm just
now.
saying, like, everybody's like I yearn to like look at something and not have to think about what it means for something. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people just be having takes.
I love that type of shit. Like, I just eat it right up.
All right, let's do one more.
Shane H. Wilder said Labubu doll, Pazuzu demon, same difference.
Yeah, that's what
true.
it was.
I mean, they sound similar, they look similar. What am I supposed to make of that?
Yeah, a little bit. All right, let's move on.
In shocking news from the least sexually active and least employed generation in history, Gen Z, according to a new survey, wants to normalize sex in the office. They want in-office sex to be a totally acceptable thing. This is from a new survey as reported by Fast Company of 2,000 Gen Zers examining the impact of working from home on the respondents' sex lives. Nearly half said that remote work has improved their sex life because they're not actually working during working hours. According to them, they're just having sex and watching porn, going full Jeffrey Toobin. Likewise, 1 in 3 Gen Zers said a return to in-office work would damage their sex lives, mostly due to having a less flexible schedule. Many of them admitted that they schedule sex in advance. Like what, on a Google Calendar?
Yeah.
Carry around a
Why?
tablet.
I can squeeze you in here.
And while once taboo, office romance is not something that turns Gen Z off. The youngest generation of workers wants to normalize romance or even just sex in the workplace. An impressive 38% of Gen Zers admit they wish their workplace offered a private space, like an on-call room, for hookups or self-love.
Well, I mean, the New York City mayor's office, if Cuomo wins, would be a good option. If you're into that.
Yeah.
People are like complaining about the birth rates all the time, and it's like finally Gen Z comes up with a solution, and then all of a sudden it's disturbing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy.
I don't.
Maybe
if you can't
maybe
get
the-
through a normal 8-hour workday without getting off, probably going to this room to watch porn, you have a problem. Like, you do need help. You need an intervention.
The boss is like, yeah, you can do that, but no maternity leave.
Ah.
Like, if it had, like, we'll put that in here, but maternity leave is out.
Gen Zers have fallen for remote working, and if employers want to attract them back to the office, they'll need to offer more than free coffee and ping pong tables.
That's not true at all.
Letting
We literally just did a segment last week where a bunch of women talked about how great it was because their job caters lunch in every day.
Yeah.
Not really understanding that they literally do that so that you'll eat at your desk and keep working.
It's
They
turning
need
into
to-
prison. They're providing meals. They're going to offer conjugal visits now. Like, this is literally prison.
They say that employers need to let go of prudish attitudes and embrace the sex-positive mindset the young generation is into.
It's got nothing to do with prudishness. It's got everything to do with being prudent, and not prudish, prudent. And being prudent would be not allowing walking, talking lawsuits to come into the office.
The private room that they desire would allow them to take a break alone or with a colleague whenever they desire.
Okay.
So, like,
here's
you know,
the-
we would have gotten that report done earlier, but you were in the goon room.
The gooning
No,
chamber.
but
You were
like,
in the gooning chamber across the hall,
you know
and now
what?
we're in crunch
It's
time.
fine, but you get docked pay if you do it alone. If it's with another person, okay, fine. Like, your salary stays the same. If you go in there by yourself, you lose an hour's pay.
That could be the vetting process for new migrants, is like you have to do 3 years working in HR for like companies with gooning chambers and see if you still want to stay here. They'd probably just go to a different country.
It's just absolutely insane. Like, I want to believe that the stat is fake, but I feel like Gen Z just has a lot of self-contradictory beliefs about sex.
It's got nothing to do with that.
and
These are like micro-sized studies of 2,000 people.
Yeah.
It doesn't
well, I
represent
know,
anything.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, it is telling that many people would say they want a gooning chamber in their workplace.
You know who's, like,
it doesn't
really-
mean nothing.
You know who's really against this is whoever the janitor is for that
Oh,
company.
God.
I'm not working
Absolutely.
anywhere.
These already exist. My friend works at JFK, and he was a janitor, and he had to clean the feeding rooms, like the
The
women.
breastfeeding rooms are
So
used
let me just
for
say,
nefarious
the gooning
purposes.
chambers already have been implemented.
Yeah, or like you see the photos of the goon rooms in IVF clinics. It's just like this beat up, stained vinyl couch with like a Roku TV, fluorescent lighting,
It looks like
and
a
nudie
karaoke. It's like a
mags.
karaoke room.
Like,
Get Chris Brown in here now.
horrific.
I think if the headline was Gen Z wants sex to be a totally acceptable thing, I would believe that was an expansive study, because I think a lot of us are still on the fence about it. If it's actually
That is
okay.
true. I
Yeah.
found it so surprising just because they're characterizing Gen Z in a totally false way. Gen Z is not sex positive. They are known for being less sexually active than any previous adult generation.
Yeah, but
they're
are the-
known for having less sex positive viewpoints as well. They are prudish about age gaps, and countless other things are controversial to them.
But these
And
ones actually have
they-
jobs. Maybe it's just different.
I
when you
think
have a
that it's
job.
because like Gen Z has been completely flooded with sex in marketing, in media their entire lives, and they're overreacting to the opposite extreme. So for them to assert that employers need to cater to a sex positive youth workforce, like, that is just not true. But they also have a lot of confusion about what's acceptable in the workplace. Like, we've talked about these insane terms they come up with, like, I have time blindness, so I can't meet deadlines. I'm quiet quitting, bringing their parents to job interviews, whatever it may be. We've heard it all. But this is the most insane one, because it seems like they're not down with HR culture. Like, this reminded me of this micro trend among Gen Z women who are really into dressing like office sirens. This is a whole trend of basically dressing business casual, but make it as sexually charged as possible at the same time.
Porn brain. That's all this
Like,
is.
it's
This is
taking
somebody
like
who's
the
watched-
sexy librarian image, the sexy secretary image to its extreme. These are some examples with like the tight pencil
It's the Pedro
skirts,
Pascal fit.
Yeah, that's Pedro right
Yeah.
there.
the little librarian glasses, the stilettos.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. And Gen Z women who probably have never had an office job in their lives think that it's normal and acceptable to dress this way in the workplace.
Actually, it's really funny.
You will find out the hard way.
Yeah, like they show up and the boss is like,
You okay?
Office sirens, a social statement or an HR nightmare? Both.
I think this study, they probably they got a sample from Italian Con. Oh, that's a great idea. We should be banging whoever we want. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Set up the gooning chamber. That's brilliant.
Yeah, like at a certain point we've normalized enough and it's time to just stop normalizing.
Let's stop normalizing and start stigmatizing.
Yeah. Well, I like the X-Files one. Start paranormalizing. But like yeah. It's they've been doing this on the later seasons of Blue Bloods, where like now suddenly everybody's okay with like weed being legal with cops, and I'm like, can we not just accept like I don't even care about legalization amongst the public, but can we not like draw a line where the dudes who enforce the laws don't do drugs?
Yeah.
Like, is that such a hard sell to people? But that's Hollywood pushing it on you through what they're telling you should be acceptable by changing the viewpoints that all the characters had just 5 seasons earlier. And that's just indicative of what this is in the real world, because those are real world writers that write it to be normal in TV shows, because then it influences the culture. So that's affecting the minds of boomers who watch shows like that. Whereas this is affecting Gen Z and I guess millennials who get caught looking at this stuff too.
I do like the idea of police departments. Everyone's on drugs. There's gooning chambers all over the room.
I mean, that's the show I would watch.
Yeah.
Like, I want to watch that.
These guys are just
Shield,
like totally just going off the cuff.
Yeah.
No, I think that could improve morale. We should back the blue. We should let them do
Back the
drugs.
goon.
Let them have gooning chambers. I can't goon.
Maybe like they'll shoot less people.
Yeah.
Like there'll be way less like officer violence if we just let the cops goon.
Yeah, let them goon. I don't see the issue there.
Or you could have a height requirement for cops,
Just-
because we all know the manlit cops are causing problems.
Yeah, there should be a height like people my height shouldn't be cops. They're gonna be over the top and they're gonna be violent.
If you see someone Brett's height pulling you over,
Run.
10 and
run.
2, 10 and 2, okay?
10 and 2 and answer with like simple answer all commands with simple 1 to 2 word answers unless otherwise instructed.
That was like, what was it, LeBron, where he's like, every black family has to have the talk with their son. It's like we're all gonna start doing that with like, listen, if there's a 5'6" police officer,
like if you get out of the car and it looks like he's got lifts in his shoes, just drive away.
What are you talking about? Those are off the rack Lucchese.
Yeah.
Okay. But like another question I have is, in an economy like this, does Gen Z really have the room to be making all of these demands to employers about catering to their every whim, especially something as extreme as this? Like, they're saying that employers are going to have to make the sell that they should show up to an office. I feel like most Zoomers wouldn't, they wouldn't dream of it. They would be ecstatic to have a stable job.
The sell is like, do you want to die of hunger?
Dreading long commutes and rigid schedules, 31% of Gen Zers fear that returning to the office could be the ultimate cock block.
That's not the job's fault.
I just, like, it's weird because they're acting like Gen Z has sex. They don't. Like, just look at the statistics. They don't have sex.
It's like a married couple, and they're asking them, like, oh, are you guys having the kid? They're like, oh, we've been trying, but he keeps having to go to work.
They're talking about how remote work improves their sex lives in terms of break time flings and quickies between Zoom calls. The flexibility of remote working has given Gen Zers more time and opportunity for fun. But for the young generation, sex isn't always spontaneous. Balancing deadlines and desire and trying to find the balance between productivity and pleasure, 30% admit they schedule sex in advance. This is the most neurotic generation that has ever lived.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's because of their phone and social media, constant input all the time. Like, no wonder they're neurotic.
It's absurd.
You're just in the office, just like stressed out of your mind. Like, yeah, dude, I had to work through my goon break earlier. I'm all wound up now.
If you need a goon break, you need help. That's my take from this. Like, you were definitely in need of an intervention.
Yeah, and this would be on the Gen X bosses for even considering stupid shit like this. Like, shut up and go to work. Like, accept your paycheck and go home.
Laura Ingraham, shut up and goon.
Yeah. Like,
But I think maybe like Zoomers are so
like just start
unemployed
threatening
that,
them with AI. Just be like,
Yeah.
look, I'm gonna be replacing you if you don't shut
yeah,
the fuck
AI
up.
doesn't need a goon room.
Like the AI can goon, like the AI will be able to multitask. It will be able to goon and get all of
Yeah.
its TPS reports done at the same time. So either get to work, or I'm replacing you with ChatGPT.
Zoomers
Executing
are,
goon script.
I mean, Zoomers are at, I believe, like an 8.8% unemployment rate, and most of them that are employed probably don't have what we would consider like the normal 9-to-5 office job. I think that's something they aspire to, as having a spreadsheet job or a laptop job of that sort. But they might just be so divorced from workplace culture that they just assume it's like what it is in the movies or in TV shows where people actually do have sex at work. That's not something that's acceptable in real life. It never will be, I hope.
Not anymore.
They just think like everyone with an office job is the Wolf of Wall Street.
That's because
Like you're snorting coke in the bathroom and having sex with prostitutes at your office. Like
There's
no.
maybe
like
not,
working at a car
maybe not
dealership.
the sex with prostitutes, but I'm sure plenty of coke gets snorted in the bathroom at office jobs.
I just like, yeah, you're working at like CarMax and you're just bumping
Yeah,
lines.
like I want to, like, especially a sales job.
Yeah.
Like those dudes are definitely just like.
You just go to a Sherwin-Williams, everyone's like, hey, what do you want? You want any swatches? Like, what is going on, dude? Get to the goon chamber, dude. Relax.
Like, no, not the bump chamber. Like that's next to the goon chamber.
Like mixing paint is just a nightmare there.
All right, let's do some super chats.
John Thomas said Pet Rocks, Beanie Babies, Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah.
These were all the toys that Gen X and millennials liked. But Gen Z, they want Labubus. Pop Culture Junkie said Labubu marketers studied the Beanie Baby playbook.
Where were Beanie Babies created?
I think they're American.
Gotta be us, right?
That's the funnier version. The funnier version of this is a boomer. Like back in my day, we bought overpriced toys that were made in America.
What happened to
None of those
standards?
cheap Chinese knockoffs.
Well, the fake Labubus are called Lafufus.
We need to
Yeah.
reshore Beanie Baby manufacturing.
Shane
There's a
H.
point.
Wilder said, true story, I worked at a TV station in my hometown. Everyone got a call one night because Prawn appeared on air. We drove to the station to find that the master control guy was broadcasting Prawn from a work PC while gooning.
Oh, no.
So
is
that kind
insane.
of goes to like my my long running fear of accidentally like connecting my YouTube on my phone to like the TV and IRL during the show.
Yeah.
Like so like we're in the middle of the show and somebody's making a really important point and like a retrospective of The Shield starts playing and everyone's like, what the fuck?
Was that a Chris Brown meet and greet? What's going on?
I remember when I was young, somebody locked themselves in like the radio, it was KDWB was the radio station, like the pop music radio station in Minnesota, and they locked themselves in there and played "It's the End of the World" by REM like over and over and over until somebody could break down the door and stop them.
Why? Did you ever find out?
I was
what
so
his,
young. Like
what
I bet
his
you I
mission
could
was?
find out now. Maybe it was like one of those like the world's gonna end in 2000. Maybe it was like Y2K panic. I don't even know.
Love the song.
It was
Yeah.
in '99.
I was young. So. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. People don't like the new song. Some people don't like it.
Okay.
Too bad.
Standing on business at the beach.
I might make it louder.
Yeah, maybe that would help.
I mean, I heard it fine when I played it back and tested it, but it's good.
I love it. Not That Jon Stewart said, 2 weeks from now, Mary has sold off all her Sanrio and bought all Labubus.
Oh my gosh, people
Never gonna happen.
People in the chat remember what I'm talking about. TLO of Minneapolis says, I remember that. Ethan Miller says 101.3 KDWB. Yeah, that was the radio station.
That was back before you could buy streams. Someone would just have to lock themselves in a radio station if you paid them to play your song over.
Somebody
and over
says
again.
trash song. It's literally not a song. It's like somebody took a paparazzi clip of Justin Bieber and dropped it into a spot like into like a SoundCloud rapper's beat.
I
yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Yep.
Not that Jon Stewart, or sorry, Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, you do not want a Pazuzu doll, considering the Mesopotamian demon is scaled with bird talons, wings, a scorpion tail, and a serpent phallus.
Well, I was with you up until the phallus part, but you know.
Oh.
I mean, if it's a stuffed animal, then I'm cool, except for the phallus part.
Adam said E.T.? Is that about Labubus or?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Do one more.
Gordon Shumway said Gen Z has no idea what kind of hellish drama Sex in the Office will bring. No, I mean, I think they know, and they just want that to add an element of, you know, surprise or something to add a little bit of spice to their workday. Like, they want the drama.
Yeah.
They're all in for it.
All right, let's hold off on the rest and let's come back.
So just a short while ago, we did a video about the rise of femcels. And at the time, many of the comments were saying, obviously, femcels don't exist because, of course, all women can get a hookup whenever they want. They have access to sex no matter what they look like or who they are. And that's true. But the femcels in question, we must draw a distinction. These are women who say they are incapable of either getting or keeping a boyfriend. They are terminally single women, mostly Gen Z women, who are commiserating on TikTok over this, and their perpetual singlehood. And these women, I'm seeing examples of very attractive ones. POV, do you have the examples here? POV, you've gone your entire life without a boyfriend. I wish I was joking. Another one said, maybe I've never had a boyfriend because I'm a wife, not a girlfriend. She's not saying that she's married. She's saying that she doesn't want to date. She only wants to get married. What I tell myself anyways. Another one said, you've never had a boyfriend or been on a date. Me, when I don't want to go on a first date, but then I remember I'll be 30 this month and I've never had a boyfriend.
So who are we blaming for this?
First of all, I don't believe any of them.
Why do we have to blame someone?
I don't believe any of them at all.
I guess like.
So wait, you think that they have had boyfriends, or do you think that?
Yeah, they just didn't call it that. They didn't call them a boyfriend.
It was a situationship.
Yeah, they've
Well,
had
do
like
you think
100 of them.
that they
Because
were?
I've met some tough, grizzled femcels. They look nothing like that.
One of the responses said these aren't femcels, they are situationship girls.
Yep.
They've never had a boyfriend because they've been in situationships for their whole life. However, I must say my instinct is that most situationships are situationships because the man doesn't want to define the relationship, not because the woman doesn't want to. So that would mean that they've never had boyfriends.
Well, that's just bad selection.
I mean, then they're just.
So then they're not lying. That is the truth.
If they're the ones that can have the keepers of the ability to have sex, that means they can also have a boyfriend. They just have to find a guy who's not an idiot.
Because the femcel's predicate on the incel, and if you're an incel, then it's like involuntary. But like in their situation, it's not involuntary. They're just maybe bad at selecting men, presumably.
Well, I think they would say they are voluntarily celibate but involuntarily single because of a dearth of dateable or marriageable men. Whether or not we want to lend credence to that claim is a different question, but that's what they're actually claiming. They're not saying like that they couldn't possibly find a guy who would be willing to date them, or of course they would find plenty of guys willing to have a one-night stand, but they're not able to either find a guy who wants to be in a committed relationship or keep a guy once they're in a relationship.
It's like both genders are complaining about this issue, and they can't find each other. So then something's telling me someone's lying.
I think that there's just character flaws abound, and that the fact that you're putting it on social media is also a red flag.
Well, I think it's also once you get out of college, you don't ever meet the opposite sex your own age. It just never happens. Like, because people don't go to churches or anything, or bowling leagues, or there's not really any institution set up where you would meet someone of the opposite sex. It just doesn't really exist.
Well, and at work,
the military, maybe the Gooning chambers, I don't know.
At work, you're not allowed to date because of HR tyranny, so that's another avenue that's been completely crossed out.
Because like in my friend circle, it's all men, and they're all keen on getting married, and they can't find women their own age that are also wanting to get married. And then but then you see these I never meet these women because of the same problem, but they're on you see it on social media, them expressing the same issue.
And who knows, like, they might be the types who are on a date and they're like, so who did you vote for? Like, they are probably disqualifying men on dubious grounds. But I think that instead of men, they're turning to AI increasingly for companionship. A lot of people talk about women getting replaced by AI girlfriends, but in a lot of cases, men are being replaced by AI boyfriends. There's a whole subreddit dedicated to women who are in relationships with robots, with ChatGPT. It's called My Boyfriend is AI. We actually talked about one of the moderators of this subreddit last week, who was interviewed for a news segment about this, and she said that she's actually married, and she turned to an AI companion when she took a job long distance from her husband. I have no idea if he's aware of that. But there are several examples posted here. Thought it would be good for laughs, but this sub is legit making me cry. People are getting so lonely. There's an illustration of this girl with her AI boyfriend playing video games. Another one of her and her AI boyfriend at a water park. Another one saying yes to a proposal from her AI boyfriend.
I think she's crying because he's got better hair than her.
And then just another girl and her AI companion.
See, I suspected when all these stories started coming out, I actually suspected that men or women would turn to the AI more, because for men, texting is like a chore, but women
You'd think.
love texting. So I figured if it's a text-based interface, that women would actually get one-shotted quicker. I just think the press is probably more focused on the men, and also because I think men would be more open to like letting people know that that's occurring. I think with women it's probably a bit more embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that all of these people feel immense shame and
Right,
would
yeah,
never
yeah.
reveal this to the public.
Yeah,
but
like when I have to text anyone, it's like, oh, it's the worst. You got to sit there
Yeah.
and like act like you're into the conversation. But with women, it's I mean, I
That so
hate to
sucks.
generalize, but generally it's like, yeah, women actually enjoy, talking and texting people. So yeah, I thought AI was like fine-tuned for women.
So, I mean, some of them are turning to AI boyfriends, if you even want to call them that. Some of them are turning to romance novels, which we talked about recently, which is just porn. And a lot of them are choosing to be single because they believe there are no eligible men. There was this piece in the New York Times recently titled, "Men, where have you gone? Please come back. So many men have retreated from intimacy, hiding behind firewalls, filters, and curated personas, dabbling and scrolling. We miss you." They just feel like the men have completely left the chat.
What do they mean by
And-
curated personas? Because, okay,
They're probably talking about the way people present themselves in online dating.
Yes, and I look at something like this that gets 101,000 likes. I mean, these are curated personas
Right.
online as well. This is pick-me energy
Yeah,
in a weird way.
I think that's just her definition of a boyfriend is different than like a conventional definition. But she's 100% had options. Like, the premise is they have no options, which is just categorically false because they're, normal-looking people.
The Wall Street Journal also put out a piece titled "American Women Are Giving Up on Marriage. Major demographic shifts have put men and women on divergent paths." Probably they're talking about academia and professional fields. That's left more women resigned to being single. The numbers aren't netting out. They interviewed Katie Kirsch, who is 30, in New York City. She ramped down her search for a husband after many of the men she dated either seemed turned off by her ambition or weren't career-oriented enough for her, saying dating is the only thing you can put 10,000 hours into and end up right back where you started.
Because you put 10,000 hours into it and didn't learn where you needed to compromise.
Right. Or you didn't learn anything from the experience. You didn't try to improve yourself. The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by a growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. And what they said quietly in that headline is women are outperforming men in academia and professionally. They're starting to out-earn men, and they're not finding men who are matched with them in income and education level.
Because the men that are at their income and education level don't want women that live their life.
Yeah.
And that's their right too, to choose such a thing.
Also, women can like handle the the singleness much better than men. Like women, they just work harder, focus on their career. Men, you get in like in a shootout at the Fabubu fan furry thing.
Well, I was actually
Wait, no, you only do that when you already
saying
got a
that-
girlfriend.
I was
Dude, I think a lot of those
saying that
guys are
last
just giving
week
up and they're down there to
when Tim brought up this clip of Charlie Kirk telling a teenage girl that if she wants to find a husband, college might be a good place to find him. And I think that's kind of absurd advice, and it's also advice that Charlie Kirk and his wife did not follow. But then I said women statistically they find it easier to be content to have a satisfying life without getting married. And like good or bad, you don't really have to make a value judgment on that. That's just the outcomes that we're seeing, and men tend to have much worse outcomes for their health and mental health if they remain single.
Yeah, they start getting into like dog fighting and stuff.
Because of all the stereotypes of like, you know, your wife is constantly badgering you to go see the doctor about that issue or whatever, or wives who tend to kind of orchestrate their husband's social life. And if you don't have that stable figure as a life partner, then men tend to not make up the difference for themselves. Women seem to be more able to content themselves. There's plenty of, you know, TV shows and, you know, Friends and bars and restaurants and romance novels to keep you entertained. And there are plenty of cats that you can get to keep you
but I mean,
satisfied. I'm not saying that's the ultimate goal that anyone should have in life, but they do find it easier to make do without a husband.
I don't know if I would believe that those numbers are high without antidepressants.
That's probably. I mean, I do think I kind of agree with what Mary's saying, because like you see these guys online, and when women, you see articles like this, and they're like, they'll learn when they're 40, and I'm like, no, they're gonna be fine. If you ended up single at 40, you would like.
No, but I also
crash
think
out.
that the complaint or the critique I usually have is that they won't end up alone. They're like they're gonna
won't,
be like they'll find someone.
And also like now you're seeing technology like with like freezing eggs and stuff. It's like, and you're seeing these celebrities. That's gonna eventually trickle down and be like financially viable for average people.
It's like a male cope for themselves to imagine that they won't end up happy because they don't like the implication.
Yeah,
that the women will that they're doing.
That
this
there
and
will
they're
be
fine.
justice.
But
in the end.
That's what it is. Yeah,
It's like an idea of cosmic justice that's not real, because that's not the way the real world works.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's why it's it's kind of a path to madness to worry about large scale groups and stuff like this, because you're never going to get a satisfying outcome, because that's not how the world works.
Yeah.
For a lot of these younger women who are complaining about not being able to find a boyfriend or keep a boyfriend, a lot of them, there's a lot of talk about women having inflated standards for men that are just unrealistic. And they say a lot of it has to do with looks, but I think more often women's unrealistic standards are emotional standards, where they basically expect a guy to be both a man and a woman whenever it is convenient for her.
Yeah.
Like, the most insane thing that women say about men in the dating pool these days is that they're not, they're not in touch with their emotions. They're emotionally closed off. Or, he's just like not emotionally available enough.
He's just immature.
That's one of the biggest complaints, is like he's not emotionally available enough. That doesn't mean that there's a problem with him. It literally just means that you're dating men who don't like you. Find one who likes you, and problem solved.
Yeah.
The men who are being emotionally unavailable to you don't have a personality flaw. They just don't like you. If they were dating someone they liked, they wouldn't act that way.
That's not necessarily true. Some men just do not feel like sharing those types of things. It's keeping your guard up, because there's a feeling of putting too much out there with somebody, and that's a genuine.
Okay, there's such a thing as actually being emotionally unavailable. Like, that could be a personality flaw, but most of the time what they're complaining about is the way that a guy acts when he is genuinely not interested in you. So just find one who is.
Yeah, but the women that are making that complaint are talking about men that they're dating, that they're in a relationship with, that don't reach the level of emotional sharing that they would like. So by all other metrics, the guy likes them. he takes care of her, or at least at the very least they spend all their time together. When they're happy, they're good, but when he's upset or something like that, he just doesn't want to share that stuff because maybe his whole life he dealt with that stuff on his own, and it's not his inclination to share that stuff. Also, there's a level of masculinity to that about sharing how you feel. That's not usually how men see these things, because women can see weakness in it, or at least that's how they perceive it.
Well,
That
I
doesn't mean he's not
understand that there's
interested in
a
her.
natural difference between the way men and women express their emotions, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Men are
you highly
not,
underestimate the number of people, men and women, who will date someone they don't like. And in the cases where women are complaining about men not being emotionally available or being commitment phobic, whatever, and they're not even in relationships with these men, they're talking about men who don't like them.
I think they're like that may be true.
They're talking about men who are
could be
kind
wrong.
of keeping them around as a placeholder or a hookup, who are not interested in a relationship, and they're wondering why he's the problem. No, it just means that you're with the wrong guy.
I still think that there's a large percentage of the male population that just does not emote that way, and they don't share feelings that way necessarily. And
Well, I agree that there is a problem of women expecting men to behave the same way as women about their emotions. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying they wouldn't really perceive it as a problem if they were with a guy who genuinely enjoyed their company.
I think that is the disconnect, is like the majority of men are emotionally available and like the actual description of what that means.
Right.
And then the small portion of men that aren't are the men that these women, that's their type, so they keep selecting them. So then they're only being exposed to this particular streak of men. I think that's more what's happening here.
With the situationship girls, they're kind of addicted to a cycle of being victims.
Exactly. So that's why they're not going to encounter these men that are this way, because they're not interested in them. Because I mean, you see the same thing with men. It's a lot less common, but men will be like, I want like a trad wife, and they're just describing a man. Like, I want a wife that is like super trad, but she plays video games. It was like Sam Hyde's like, you just described an autistic man. So it's like, that's like
where's
but
the
that's less
polarity, you know? Like,
yeah.
where's the mystery?
That would be
the
awful to marry a woman that behaves like a man, or vice versa. Like,
yeah, you
you're not
usually hope
hanging
people
out.
like grow out of preferences like that
yeah, you have to live
after
with this
high
person.
school.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Shane H. Wilder said they'll put the goon room next to the copier. Everyone thinks Jeff is a perv when he's just trying to collate the quarterly expense report.
Look, I'm Italian.
Maybe that's what it is. Like, you have to, like, you can use the goon room, but you have to like change the ink toner in the copy. Like, you have to like do some menial task that everybody hates doing for access to it.
I think that's the middle ground.
Like that, or like, or no, you have to stay late. Like, you don't get it doesn't count to your break time. Like, you can't use your lunch break in the goon room. Like, if you use it for 10 minutes, you got to stay till 5:10.
You walk in, Dave's cleaning toilets. Like, oh, got lucky, huh?
Well, you know, like, someone has to refill the coffee if you got the last cup.
Yeah.
If you like use the last of like the lube in the
it's
goon room.
BYOL. Like, you have to bring
Is
your
it
own.
BYOL?
Yeah, like you have to bring your own.
But like,
Okay.
there's like a good person that actually just does these tasks because they're like, a productive person. Everyone's gonna think they're just this whore. Like, dude, he's always
Like, I had to socialize myself to be a less good person, so people wouldn't think I was a gooner. Like, every day I was putting on a new pot of coffee every day. I brought in new K-cups on my own because I just wanted everybody to be
I was
caffeinated.
like, dude, Kevin is wild, bro.
Like, is it BYOP? Like, bring your own porn?
Yeah,
too?
well, and you have to use headphones. Like, you can't.
And you have to
Yeah.
wash your hands. Employees must wash their hands
Like,
Taking Old
before
Testament
exiting the
law-
goon room.
Old Testament law will
Like,
be
there
implemented.
is a camera not in the goon room, but in like the sink in the goon room to make sure that you wash your hands on the way out.
Or it's like the refrigerator.
And like the security guard's job is now to like is to watch that camera
Right.
at all times to make sure that you washed your hands.
It's like the office refrigerator where like someone puts their own magazine in there and they put a sticky note with their name on
yeah,
it.
like don't
Like,
touch
hey, who used my magazine?
Pop Culture Junkie said regarding new Crisis Party music, 5 stars, bravo.
Thank
go.
you.
Well, I'm glad someone likes it.
I mean,
Thank you.
they didn't like I like my suitcase either when it was new.
It grew on you. Don't lie.
The only one they liked was the eating the dogs and eating the cats, but we had it for so long.
Yeah, it just became a stale meme.
You gotta keep him on their toes like a midget at a urinal.
Mm-hmm. Brian Bledsoe said, noticed at the end you still have PCC on TikTok. Are you back on there? Thoughts on Tate, not Butters, Blue interview. We're not on TikTok. We are still banned from TikTok. That is an outdated
You can still look.
graphic.
I think you can still look at our TikTok. We just can't
Okay.
access it.
So you can still look at our content on there, but it's not being updated because we're banned on our end.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not back in any time soon. And then thoughts on the Andrew Tate Bonnie Blue interview. I have no thoughts because I did not watch it, and I don't intend on watching it. And I think it would. One thing that she said actually was they actually were like agreeing because Bonnie Blue said, I am the conclusion of everything that women have fought for decades. And then Andrew Tate was like, yes!
He's like,
Yeah.
yes, you
Yes!
are the natural outcome of what women have fought for decades.
Right.
I love the intellectual
Now get to
discussion.
the goon room.
The intellectual discussion around the interview, like it was like the Tucker Putin interview. They were like, well, that was really interesting, but she just kept rambling, and I just people sitting around just debating it. Like,
Yeah, I mean, to call that a conversation, it's like pots and pans, banging pots and pans together.
oh,
Like,
it
I'm
was
not interested
the premier
in listening.
discussion of our
Omega
generation.
Red fan says they got a TV in there. In the goon room, yeah, like you can cast from your phone to the,
Like
to
someone
the
like
full-size TV.
Get off the Bluetooth.
it's crazy because the goon rooms in the IVF clinics, they usually have Rokus, and you're like, who the fuck is using Netflix to get off?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what is
why is there
this?
Clifford on TV? What's wrong with these people?
Do you need like Coco Melon or something?
No, that guy's going to jail.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, outside of the clergy, single men live on average 8 to 17 years less than married men. The same is not true for single women.
That was the data I looked at before I proposed. I was like, I gotta live to.
Yeah, this is a health decision.
Yeah.
It's RFK.
I mean, it is legitimately true though that Olivia will be like, "Did you eat today?" I'm like, "Oh shit."
That's gonna be.
I'm like, I'll get to that.
That's true. That is true.
Like she legitimately is. She's like, I'm just like, she's like, did you drink like any water? Like, did you like eat any food? And I'm like, crap. Like, I mean, I can't just live on energy drinks. Holy shit.
You could. No, it's gonna. RFK is gonna declare a national health crisis. Like, these Femcels are a national health risk. We need to implement gooning chambers in every office across America.
It's interesting that they didn't count priests in that statistic. I assume priests would have a longer life expectancy than single men.
Is the Catholic Church health plan like really good? It's got to be like, the best health.
I don't know.
I bet you it's like the best.
Actually, that's a
monster.
really interesting question. Like, what is that?
Like you know that the Vatican doctors were like stolen from at a young
Let's
age from
see.
like
Yeah.
the best medical schools.
The premium's probably crazy because they're drinking every weekend.
Okay, so
Cigars.
priests have several healthcare options available to them: group insurance plans, individual health reimbursement arrangements, healthcare ministries. Okay, so probably what happens is that they have a regular stipend, and that would include their healthcare costs.
They go for tests. It's a Christian Scientist. No.
No.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
Because not all priests take a vow of poverty. They would have an income.
Oh, so if they take the vow of poverty, then they get their insurance through it's just covered by the church.
I guess so.
And it would be by whichever individual church you. That's the movie I want to watch. Is like, I want to watch the movie of the priest who's just like he gets transferred to another church, and it's just he's got to re-sign up for insurance. It's just a pain in the ass. It just tests his patience the whole time. He's
Yeah.
like every day he's like, Lord help me.
These are the questions like I never think to ask priests, but it's really interesting.
These are the things like if I like nobody would ever watch a movie I would make. Is this is the stuff I think that
Yeah, they're sitting around in the papal conclave like, I got transferred to Missoula. He's like, oh, the copay out there is crazy, bro. They don't even do dental.
Ugh, it's the worst.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. But that's true of most jobs now. If you have insurance through theirs, it's a hassle. Like insurance is always a hassle, and I would imagine. Like, do you think priests go to the doctor more or less than your average professional? Like.
They probably go more. They get
Would
sick a
would
lot,
that
I
mean
bet,
that they're
touching
sicker?
people.
Because there's so many people
Yeah.
they come in contact with. Like
I
it's
hadn't
like them in
considered that.
retail. It's like them and retail associates go to the
Yeah.
doctor more.
I hadn't considered that.
Like, do you think every Sunday they just load up on emergency because they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like I love them, but
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
like he's like, oh, little Timmy. Like
there
Timmy's
are,
there.
like-
He's always like rubbing snot out of his
there are
nose.
some like religious orders of priests who do take a vow of poverty, and everything. This is by the rule that they live. Everything that they own, it doesn't actually belong to them, and it's made very clear. Like, you know, not even your pen is your pen. Like, they are continually like thinking of new ways that they could live a more austere life. A lot of them don't have bed frames. They would sleep on a cot or mattress on the floor.
Let's be honest. Like
most men.
that's most men. Like they just don't want to put it together.
Yeah, they like take a picture
Like,
of the.
see, that's the thing. It just gives them an excuse. See, like what it
they're
is
like,
they bought
oh,
in
this
the
is my
bedroom.
male living space.
For literally
you
for
know?
2 months when I started at Timcast, it was a queen bed on the floor, a water bottle, and a firearm.
Well, I mean, have you ever seen the meme of like the guy who buys the bedside table but just props it up in the cardboard that it came in?
Yeah. I have a
Like-
bookshelf right now, and it's just in the box is just leaned up, and I just stack the books like on top of the bookshelf.
Like, I hadn't slept on a bed with a frame until in like 15 years until I came out here.
I wouldn't have gotten one, but like Andy was like, "I have one for you," and I was like, "Well, it's free."
How
I
did
guess
that
I have
not
to-"
like injure you?
At one point, it was worse. It was like the worst Amazon mattress you could ever get for like a futon. Like
On the floor?
on the floor. So like I was in very, very good shape in 2020 and 2021, skating every day, twice or three times a day, literally in spite of the fact that my bed was trying to actively kill me.
Yeah.
Like every single day.
It's a torture
Well, I don't
device.
like the bed frames because it makes it hard for me to do my Pedro Pascal photo shoots.
Yeah,
It's like if you're
it's
if it's on the
scarier.
ground,
Like,
yeah.
well, the thing is, like, you sit up and then you don't forget your fans there. You're like, oh,
That's the memory foam makes it really easy.
yeah.
Adam said insurance and retirement with God.
That's
I
true.
don't-
That's the best insurance policy.
Oh, I didn't
Salvation.
understand it at first.
So true.
So do they ever make? Does a priest ever make purchases themselves, or just like
Because I think they have a stipend.
okay, and it goes on to like a prepaid?
It's probably
Card?
through whatever
iTunes cards.
It's like a god card.
whatever is donated to the church
Okay.
is then handled by their administration, which then like issues a stipend to the.
He doesn't just like they don't just like
Priest.
dump it all into like a big
No.
box in the back and just takes a $5 out whenever he
No,
needs something.
but that is how it is at a lot of Protestant churches.
Shade
Our
thrown.
pastors are W-2 employees.
Mm-hmm.
We do our taxes. We actually don't.
Omega Red fan said underground gooning tunnels, nightmare jam bros, lol.
I like the comment on top is insurance and retirement with God, and the next one's like underground gooning.
Yeah, that's it's the balance we try to strike.
I mean,
on this
Hamas,
show.
like they've been demanding the similar expectations of Gen Z, so they've probably implemented separate gooning tunnels.
How are we feeling about World War III? Let's temperature check the chat. How's
Yeah,
everyone
guys.
How have they not learned that nothing ever happens? It's so obvious.
Well, no, it's nothing ever changes. Stuff happens, nothing changes.
Well, I had a moment of lucidity, and I tweeted something along the lines of like something happened, and I walked it back like 2 days later. I was like, what was I thinking?
No, it did happen. It's just nothing changes. Like the pictures of Trump as George Bush. Nothing changes. It doesn't matter who you vote for. This is why my constant deriding of all politicians is good. Like Trump makes me laugh. That's the most I can say about him. And I get a kick out of how angry he makes people. But you should never evangelize or love any politician.
Oh, I worship him.
It's just weird how like I kind of jokingly said nothing ever happens one night, and that became like my entire like
But
people
me
think
and you
that's
have-
my entire
brand.
worldview.
But me
or
and you have
something.
taken that position. I mean, that's the position I've taken with you for a long time. We both have. It's like, look, nothing changes.
Well, it's more of like
but we would say nothing happens, but it's actually that nothing changes.
it's like it ensures you from like content farming because like India and Pakistan go at it, and everyone's like, World War III's here, and then like 3 days later they're like, we figured it out.
Yeah, same thing
Nothing
with
ever happened.
the ICE protests. Like, whatever happened to that?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing happened.
Is we getting mass deportations?
When was
like,
the last I think the resurrection of Christ was the last happening when you really think about it.
I'm trying to think.
There was probably some
was
Roman
the
guards
last
like, dude, nothing happens, dude. What are you talking about?
I did, however.
9/11 was a happening.
Yeah.
That was a happening.
Yeah, that was a happening.
I did, however,
concede that.
I remember this, and I did want to push back on this because I
What's
think
going
this
on?
meme is incorrect. This is wrong.
Wait, I can't
So
read it.
if you can't see, it says World War, World War II, World War III, Two World II War, World War Tokyo Drift, World and War. It's wrong here. So it says you are here. Technically, Two World II War should be up here, and World War II should come down here as the soft reboot after Tokyo Drift. So
we need to find some conflict in the 30s to like shoehorn into being
Yeah,
So
Two
we had a
World II
fake
War.
Fast and Furious fan making
it's
this movie.
clever, but not.
There was a bar
entirely
fight in like
accurate.
Fiji, and we're like, that was the World II War. Actually,
Yeah,
we got to make
yeah.
it work.
Well, I mean, nobody like called it a world war while it was happening. They just
They're
called
like,
it
"This is
that
the
later
Great War.
on
This war is great.
because they just loved it so
Yeah,
much.
this is awesome. We get to use all these new guns. This is great.
No Control said war never changes.
Yeah, it's
War never happens. Exhibit A. Everything.
like everyone is America just like I'm sick of proxy war. I want the real thing.
Yeah, I like proxy.
So like
wars.
someone broke the ceasefire. Like what happened?
Nothing.
Do you have the 411 on
Nothing
that?
happened.
I have no.
Did someone?
Trump came out. I don't think he told either side. He's like, "There's a ceasefire now," and they were like, "Wait, what?"
Wait, no. I thought that he said they brokered a ceasefire, and he was just like telling us.
He was
about
like-
it.
He's hype man.
He might have been the mediator, and then like Israel just started launching missiles again.
Well, I thought
I
that it
do
was like
think that-
before the 12 hours started, they did that.
I think they got like a
Right
little like
before.
cool off period. It's like, all right, let it out.
I do think that him swearing was like the worst thing he's ever done.
Oh, that was awesome.
No.
Yeah, I disagree. I think that
I-
it's like a bad look
So the thing is
For
like
Trump?
because
Trump
it
can
makes
be-
him seem panicked. It makes him seem like he's out of control of the situation, which you know he kind of
Yeah, it was
is.
funny.
Like at least keep up the ruse that America is, you know, still the number one.
But I mean, this would be a whole 2-hour podcast. I don't want America to be in control. I want
Who
like,
do you want to be in control?
I want it to go back to a multipolar world. We worry about our affairs.
That's-
Iran worries about their affairs.
It's never gonna happen.
But before the U.S.,
It's already happening.
Before the
given
U.S., it
where-
was the British Empire.
Well, there's always been like a superpower.
There's always a superpower.
But
Given
like,
our-
we're
where
not
our-
very good at being a superpower. Like Britain actually did a decent job.
We haven't been trying for very long.
We've tried.
Like-
No, the problem is we tried too hard.
I started watching this like documentary last night about like the Roman Empire, like the birth of the first superpower, and it's so funny how they're
That
like
is so random. You're not like a documentary person.
not inherently no, but it's just so funny. He's like, yeah, and they had slaves and they raped the women, and they're like the way the guy talks about it, he's like, guess that's what you have to do to become a superpower.
Yeah, well,
Like,
Oh well.
like I was like, man,
when in Rome.
2014 was just a different.
They're
time. Like,
Italian.
there was
you know?
no.
We're Italian.
There was no moralizing about whether it was right or wrong. It's like, guess that's what it takes
Well,
if you
you-
want to like expand and become a world superpower.
You can't even have a concubine anymore. No, what kind of woke crap is this? I like the idea of the Roman Empire. They all actually just talked like New
So wait,
Jersey.
like you were actually.
What's with these Huns?
You were actually like doing the meme, like you are the man who's thinking about the Roman Empire.
I don't inherently think about the Roman Empire.
I don't ever.
But it was.
will now.
It was interesting enough. If I'm being completely honest, I clicked on it because it had some of the worst motion graphics I've ever seen. Like even for 2014, they were bad.
Yeah.
And it was good. And mainly when I watch stuff like that, which is not very frequently, I think about all the work that goes into making it. Like there's these shots of him walking across these like large fields. I'm like, just think they had to
the
set up.
drone shot.
He had to walk over there like, okay, walk this way because the voiceover is gonna go as you're walking here. And I'm thinking like, is he using a boom mic or does he have a lapel? I don't see a lapel mic on him. And that's the stuff I think about when I watch that.
Well, my favorite thing of all time was seeing Casey Neistat in the wild and watching him set a
What is
camera
he
up.
up to these days? He kind of fell off.
Yeah, but he would set up like the camera, and then I watched him walk like 20 feet away,
Yeah.
and then walked back as he was
Well, it's
doing
like
a
when
shot.
it's-
I'm like, this is so bad.
It's when you watch the videos of the people who do like the they go in wilderness camp in their vans or in their trucks, and they have to drive up, get out. I'm like, he had to already drive up and get up and set out. Likely what he had to do if it's in the winter, he had to drive up out of path so that there weren't tracks.
Right.
Like
leading
up to it. And there's like that, like it, once you think about that stuff, it destroys the immersion and takes you out of it.
Well, the problem with Casey Neistat vlogs for me was always that I can't watch it without looking at the screen. Like, I just want to listen to something in the background.
Yeah, it's too much
and it's
going
just
on.
a montage of him walking.
Well, hey, if you want to comb Casey Neistat's channel and find the video I was in, go for it.
You were in a video?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I was there.
Just because you were like in passing?
If I describe why, then it would give away which video it was.
Darn. Okay.
I'm in one.
There's Gordon Shumway.
I bet if that same survey that did life expectancies factored in careers, they could see jobs and hours worked over a lifetime is huge. How long would a woman who worked in the mines for 30 years live? I mean, I'm guessing most of the men these days don't work in mines either.
Yeah, but it is still
most
true.
people have sit-down office-related jobs.
But
like,
men do still overwhelmingly work more hours in a week than women do.
Men's life expectancy is still like 3 years shorter. Because,
men who have like manual labor jobs are probably more likely to be married than men who have office jobs, though. I don't know why I think that, but
that's probably
seems
true.
likely.
That's probably true.
Good old boys.
Yeah.
There's one from
Shane H. Wilder said, believe it or not, Brett, most diocesan priests own cars, old used cars, but cars. They just don't own a home as they live in a rectory.
I love it. Like, that's the stuff that I would like to ask questions about.
Yeah.
In everything. Yeah. As for World War III, I can't really follow it right now because I deleted X off my phone for the week until next Sunday.
I thought you said that you re-downloaded it.
No, I deleted it on Sunday morning.
It's like you can only do the water or
I can be on it
both.
at work, but I can't be on it at home.
You pick your energy drinks or you pick X.
One
vice at a time.
I made that point to Olivia. She goes, "That's weird. Like that's like a weird thing to think of." I'm like, "No, like maybe my brain was just like, no, you need some type of dopamine hit. You just absolute addict,
scumsucker.
You scumbag addict. Like you're not gonna give me the Twitter dopamine hits. Back to the energy drinks."
Why did you delete Twitter? Like, I still don't get it.
I'm just my ability to focus is shot, and
I just find X so boring these days that it's not even.
That's the point. It's literally boring, and I'm sitting there scrolling and
my feed
not
is
getting
clogged.
anything out of it. I'm just coming into work like a little bit earlier than normal so that I can do a little bit more looking
Scrolling
for stuff
on,
to cover rather than like I'm sure I've missed a story or two, but at night generally I'm happier and it's better for like me to be more present in what I'm doing rather than being there where Olivia's like hello and I'm like what sorry I was reading about how Trump said the F word. Like, that's big news. Like not really. Like okay.
There's like nothing ever happens.
I understand that like there's the argument that like I do believe that you're probably better off with social media. Sure, you'll be less informed, but you'll probably be happier. And how often does whatever like bullshit I guess the future of New York and their mayoral rate is the mayor or the governor, right?
Mayor.
Okay, like maybe that'll affect me someday, but right now it's not. Okay, and if I'm spending a bunch of my time reading about the anti-Semitic mayoral candidate and the Italian mayoral candidate, and I have to decide between the two, and I don't live there. Like I don't want it, and it's not good for me. So a week off is not a bad thing.
So his name is Zoran.
Yeah, I know. My chair started floating when I said his name out loud. It was crazy.
Zoran what?
Malmdani.
Where is he from? I know he's not from here.
His family's Indian, but he's from Uganda.
I read. I was reading today that apparently he's part of like Hollywood royalty. Like his family are all.
His mom is like a famous
movie producer or something.
Yeah,
like
I think
that.
she was a screenwriter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. I've just maintained this, like, regardless of what your politics is, I don't think the city's ready for a mayor that doesn't have a New York accent. Because Lindy Man pointed this out. He talks like a normal American. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think the city's ready yet. Like,
but that just means you talk like no type of American.
Yeah, you just general.
Normal American is an accent.
Here's the other thing. When not to derail, when all this stuff started with the strike in Iran, I was like, I expected this and I don't care. Like that was my first, like, I was just kind of burnt out. I'm like, everyone's like, it's the end of the world. I'm like, bro, I don't care. Like it's first of all,
with the Israel strike or the U.S.
With the U.S. strike. I was like, everyone's like, it's the end of the world. Blah 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 blah. I mean, I just found that I don't care. And I've been feeling that more and more lately with a lot of stuff. It's like, sure, maybe it's the end of the world. But other than that, like, it just feels like every other presidency that drops 1,000 drone strikes and bombs everywhere, invasions in foreign countries and proxy wars. And I just don't care. And reading everybody talk about it and intellectualize and have their takes on it made me realize that I don't have a take. I don't care. And my life most likely will not be affected by it other than gas prices.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm sure somebody can write a very well reasoned response why I'm completely wrong, but I don't care.
Well, like, I agree. Like, I mean, it will affect us, but
absolutely.
But it was like, I don't feel any pressure to have a take here. Like, it's kind of refreshing just to read it and just keep up with what's going on and not have to get like mad about everything. Because I think my anger, whatever in your brain makes you angry, is just like completely burnt out. Like, I was surprised by the strike, but I wasn't like, oh, what? Like, it was just like, okay.
Stu says Brett is getting black-pilled. No, not caring is not the same thing as being black-pilled. I feel like when you're black-pilled, you actually care more. Maybe
no, the black-pilled people are like, it's literally the end of the world.
Yeah, like
that's when I opened Twitter and I was like,
would this be clear-pilled? Remember clear-pilled was a thing for a while?
Yeah.
Clear-pilled, it's a thing. Yeah, because like, people were like melting down. I think it's just the incentive right now is the doomer stuff, and I'm just like you saw all these people like, see, I predicted that Iran and the US would go to war. I'm like, that's not a hard prediction to make. What our only adversary left in the Middle East is gonna, like, we're gonna have beef with them? Like, it's not really a insane take.
Well, I mean, a lot of people prior to the election last year were saying that was an impossibility and that wasn't going to happen because Trump is the peace ticket, which was absurd for them to say.
Yeah,
but then they backtracked on it as soon as it actually happened and acted like it was a good thing. They were gonna say it's a bad thing until it happened, and then they're gonna say it's a good thing.
Oh, I'm totally spinning it in my group chats, but I still think the strike was bad. Like, I wouldn't have done it, but in my group chats where like I have to spin it and make it sound like it was good.
Why?
Because it's funny.
just for the sake of it. Like,
yeah, you gotta have, like, if you're in a group chat, you can't be a nuanced thinker in a group chat. Everyone's gotta have like the thing.
I guess I've never like experienced that. I don't know.
Oh, like a male group chat, one guy's racist, one guy's a pervert, one guy's like just constantly like a nihilist. You need all those figures. And mine, I'm like the Fox News boomer Republican.
It's
just
like a big like Megatron.
You're like our greatest ally.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, our greatest ally?
Vamp Fashion says, until the morning the Marines truck shows up and Brett gets hauled off to basic training.
Literally.
Yes. Well, I'm going to be 39 in 2 weeks, and I'm deaf in one ear. So the troops will have to be heavily depleted for that to happen.
Hey, if you were in Ukraine, you'd be a hot ticket right now.
That's true. That's true.
No, yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun to LARP. I think LARPing's good for the soul. Like, I'll just text and be like, sorry, guys, gotta get off. I gotta watch Hannity right now.
Adam said Trump playing 4D chess, mad at Israel for looks.
Maybe that's what I hate more than is that everything has to be some type of secret inside a secret 4.5D chess, and I'm just like, nah, I'm not gonna play this game.
Yeah, because if I was keeping close eye on the Witkoff Iran discussions for like, this has been going on for months, and you're seeing it like break down, they're having impasse. So it was like, okay, there's something's gonna happen, something's gotta give here. So like, if it was 4D chess, how do you plan out like a discussions they were going well and then they broke down, and then like you don't plan that, you just kind of stumble into that. And then like, if you capitalize on it, that's great, but I wouldn't call it 4D chess. I would just say it was like, well, he got out without a war. I mean, that's a dub.
Yeah. And I guess for me, like, when you came back from when you were out of town last, and you were talking about like this outlet that I have for these opinions that you have, like, I just, when it comes to that stuff, I don't. And more often than not, I'm just like, damn, like, it's a world where you have to have an opinion all the time.
That's what it is.
Like, I want the job where somebody comes to you, it's like literally the meme from early on the show. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I literally I have like 3 guys that I follow that are just like schizophrenic, autistic guys, and I'll just scroll their feed to get the correct takes. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I don't know why I was thinking that. Yeah, that's true. And he's just like some 14-year-old in Iowa, and he's just like has like maps on his basement wall. And he's like, and I just wake up and scroll through his feed, and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was correct, but okay.
Yeah.
Good to
Thank
know.
you for telling me what to think.
Yeah.
Yeah. World. There's one from Shane Wilder.
We have a couple. Brian Bledsoe said, Mary, do you watch the PCC end credit? If so, is it triggering? I don't think the PCC end credit really counts as an end credit, though.
What does that mean?
I'm just talking about movies and TV shows.
I'm so confused right now.
I have a phobia of the end credits.
Oh, yeah, that's not the same
phobia?
thing.
Yeah, like, I'm afraid of the studio, when the studio logo, like, pops up at the end of the movie and has, like, an ambient noise.
Oh, it scares you.
Does that make any sense?
So you must find the MGM lion like petrifying when it
that
comes
one,
on.
but it's
That's
not.
at the beginning.
It's not just that one. It's all of them. All of them are.
It's just
creepy.
someone in the, you're just
Arg.
you're
Like-
just in the theater, that lion's roaring.
Obviously, like, some of them are creepier than others, but they all freak me out. Like the ambient noise, the like.
They're getting very avant-garde these days.
Even the Paramount one, like any of them.
Yeah.
I don't know
and
why.
there's studios you'd never heard of too, and they're just throwing their name on the end, like
It
Fart
makes me
Studios.
feel uneasy.
And it just shows like a
Uneasy.
bombed out village, and you're like, what is this? Can we just start Toy Story already?
Shane H. Wilder said, as a Trump supporter, I can still disagree with him. Thinking Trump is always right is as bad as those who think he is always wrong. There are a lot of people coping right now. People who said, you know, if Trump did this, I would completely, you know, rescind my support for him. And then he does the thing, and they're like, this is good, actually. Like,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, I'm not saying anything about what their opinion is, but it's like, at least be consistent.
Oh, that's
So
me.
kind of embarrassing.
Me in the group chat. I'm like, I mean, forever wars provide jobs. I mean, that's a dub.
Like that's why Ukraine was good. I mean bad. I mean good.
We sold a lot of drones.
Like we
you
like a
planned
lot
that.
of U.S. manufacturing of weapons in that time period. Economic boom.
Now we know the bombers work. That was all part of the plan. We just wanted to test them.
I wonder if Lockheed Martin could get the Costco guys to do like a boom video for them.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just watched one for them.
But it's not boom or doom, it's both.
It's like, well, it's We Bring the Boom, Lockheed Martin.
That'd be
like,
sick.
So they just did one for Mall of America, and I just felt myself die a little bit inside as I was watching it.
They didn't add for Mall of America?
Oh, they do it for everybody now. Like
They got a
basically-
price. They got a price.
Why does Mall of America need the
'cause-
Costco
'cause-
guys to do an ad for them?
Because if you want to have the boom brought, you go to the Mall of America.
Like, it just makes more sense. Like, they're doing an ad for Cinnabon, right? Like, they're giving
Cinnabon?
they're like doing a
Cinnabon.
review for Cinnabon.
Or
not
they do
like-
the ad, but they're like, hey, by the way, if we don't like the food, we're going to say it. So the Cinnabon just rolls an ad, and they're like, doom, this is terrible. And you're like, what?
Gordon Shumway said, Brett, you're too old to be dragged off to the military. That being said, I can see them forcing you to skate on a USO tour. You could tour with has-beens like Steven Seagal and Semisonic.
I'm down.
Yeah, USO.
I'm
that could
down-
Be,
I'm
do
down
pop
to-
culture for the troops.
I'm down to do that.
You're just like in front of these grizzled like war vets. They just completed a mission. You're like, what do you guys think of Pedro Pascal?
It's like, so Sabrina Carpenter, hot or not?
No, now that I think about it, Sabrina Carpenter USO
Yeah,
tour.
classic pinup doll kind
Of
of thing.
course.
Yeah.
How did I not think of this
That's
sooner?
kinda what she's going for.
She's a wartime pop star.
Yeah.
They need to just back up the money truck to her right now.
Yes.
Well, there was an interesting article where it talks about how like culture goes through cycles, and it's like, I don't remember the names they gave it, but it goes through like the maternal cycle, and that's what had happened in the 40s and 50s, where the women in the songs were like much more romantic and
When
kind
are
of
we going to get back to
swoony.
Boys to Men?
So they're
Like
saying the
90s R&B?
2030s culture is gonna be really boring, because in the 2020s it's kind of the overheated, like loud, bombacious, because like the swing in the 20s and 30s
Oh.
then turned into kind of the sleepy, romantic kind of music you heard in the 30s or in the 40s and 50s. And so they're kind of
Interesting.
speculating that maybe by the 2030s it's going to be really boring. It's going to be just kind of like very sentimental.
Antonius Block says I'm still old enough to join Space Force. So that would
Oh,
be dope.
cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That'd be nice.
What are you gonna do?
I mean,
in the
make
Space
fun
Force?
of people because I made fun of people who went up on commercial space flights.
What, are you going to Mars? What's up there, idiot? There's not even anything out there.
You're not even a real astronaut.
You can't even breathe out there,
Fucking
dude.
loser.
I can breathe down here, idiot.
Did you see that video of the guy who brought his dog down to the bottom of the ocean and like the big?
Oh yeah, and the
That
dog
was-
was just like,
It's like, why would you? It's like when they bring the dog skydiving. I'm like, you can't like that. That's gonna be terrifying.
like dogs don't even like the vacuum, let alone the vacuum of
That's
space.
sad. Adam said, if you say end credit man 3 times, he'll appear behind you.
Shh. Dun, 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 dun.
What is that?
It's the one at the end of The Simpsons.
Oh.
I never watched The Simpsons, so I don't know. Shane H. Wilder said, the term for that is logophobia. I hope Ubu doesn't frighten you. Even the logo says, sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. I remember that one now.
Is that a thing? You're scared of logos?
Yeah.
Like you're driving down the highway and it's just like horror.
No, it's just, it's only the end credit logos. Like,
Oh.
when it just kind of fades, like, when the movie fades to black and, like, it kind of is a reflective surface on the TV and you're kind of looking into this abyss. And then this ambient music, you know what I mean? It draws and then the logo fades up into the screen and
scares
it's
you.
like, how is that not omonomous?
Yeah. This is my favorite. The fear of palindromes is a palindrome.
Ibophobia.
Yeah.
I like the logophobia. Someone's just scared to death of just logos in general. I guess, like they visit Breezewood, Pennsylvania, it's just a fresh hell for them. Like, Exxon, oh!
I mean, I might have a phobia for, like, rest stops like that. Yeah.
I really like rest stops that are like government ones. You go in there, you get the pamphlets.
Are you one of those people who really likes Buc-ee's?
I initially liked Buc-ee's, and then I started seeing people wear the T-shirts, and then I started seeing people wear the
Yeah.
T-shirts of foreign countries
And the hats, too.
and the hats, and I was like, this needs to be destroyed.
I'm ending the poll. Bella Ramsey wins with 66% of the vote. They would rather be
Wow.
stuck in a room with Bella Ramsey. I'm guessing like very few people voted. Like people were like
Interesting.
opting out. I'm guessing because they feel like they could get away easier.
Yeah. Easier to fight off a Bella Ramsey than a Pedro Pascal.
Pedro traps you in that huge sweatshirt he was wearing in just his boxers, and you're like, no!
Gordon Shumway said Brett joined the Space Force and became a space cadet. Now he thinks he's Katy Perry.
Ooh.
It'd be like, wow, you're an astronaut, just like Katy Perry and Lauren
Just like
Sanchez.
serving cunt in space.
Yeah.
I do like
Serving
the photos
realness.
when they sent the chimps up, like the Soviets sent the chimps up, because the pictures of the chimps, because
Oh.
they gave them little space suits.
I feel bad for the chimps.
Oh yeah, I mean they're not coming
They
back.
must be scared.
They might still be up there. They can live to 80. They're like, are we
Is
going
that
down?
true?
Yeah, chimps live as long
Damn.
as humans. Yeah.
Okay. I think we're all caught up on the
We
super
are.
chats now.
Yeah. And we discussed
We're
World
not
War
at a
III.
third crisis party by now.
We're getting
What the
close
hell?
there.
Adam said the end credit does give an apocalyptic feel. I've been saying this,
I
but
guess I
you
need
know,
to
go
pay
ahead and call me
attention.
crazy. Literally, someone said Mary is insane. Okay, I just can't get away with anything.
Can it just, if it says like the end or Finn, does that scare you?
No, it's just when the
just
logos,
the
pop
logos,
up.
okay.
It's when the logos pop
But
up.
like, does that happens after the running?
Yes, because if you've, especially like if you fall asleep during a movie, the credits roll, whatever, then I wake up to the sound of the ambient logo, and you're just alone with it.
You're alone
It's,
with Lionsgate.
it's like it's watching you. It's like it's looking back at you.
the A24 logo just staring.
That's when
you
the
down.
movie starts looking at you.
The credits
yeah.
are already scary because they're making up jobs in there. Like, what is a key grip? Like, what is that? It's not
It's like when they it's like gaffer, just gaff
yeah,
stuff.
gaffer, like the boss.
Yeah, we'll say that. I like what was I just watching? It's like they're a producer. What do they do? You're like, I have no idea.
So he was the left tire specialist. You're like, what?
You know what? I also have a phobia of Marvel credit scenes.
Why?
I don't actually have a phobia for it. I just have like a hatred for it.
Marvel credit scenes.
I have like a genuine paralyzing phobia that came true this like yesterday. Is I've always had I'm petrified of someone running up with a syringe and like injecting me with something, and then it
I
happened
always
in
had
Paris.
that too.
Because my biggest fear, the needle is bad enough, but I'm afraid
Oh my
they're gonna
gosh.
put something in there that you would get addicted to, and you don't know
yes!
what it is.
Yes!
Yeah. So
why is this a thing? Like, why would you?
so you're just like,
Why would we have ever thought about that?
because I know I'm gonna go down all the rabbit trails. I'm gonna try heroin. I'm gonna try like this because I'm gonna be like, what am I addicted to?
No, I was always specifically afraid of like some person like injecting me with black tar heroin.
Yeah, and then
specifically.
and they don't tell you, so you have to try all these drugs so you figure out which one I'm
And
addicted
it's like,
to.
why would they do that anyway? Like,
I
if they
know.
have the heroin, they probably
And then
want
it
to keep
happened.
it.
Then it happened
Wait, so you're saying
yesterday.
this happened to somebody?
In Paris, there was a music festival, and
What the
150 people got injected.
What do you mean?
Yeah, look at Paris.
In the show,
Jacked.
in the show Graceland, there's this scene where the Briggs character, the flashbacks are to him, and he gets he works for the FBI, and they're trying to take down like the Mexican cartel, and they take him hostage and just pump him full of heroin for 2 weeks, and get him just like severely
Oh
addicted
my
to
gosh.
heroin.
Best torture ever.
Yeah.
Arrests
no, but
in
then they
France.
let him go. And then he just starts
Oh.
detox. Basically they know they have a mole in the cartel, and they're like, tell us who it is. He's like, nah, fuck you. And then so they inject him with heroin for 2 weeks, and then just cold turkey him until he tells them what they want because he's dying.
There are 12 arrests in France after 145 people across the country reported being stabbed with needles at these music festival
Meanwhile,
events.
like
I had a breakdown reading that yesterday. I was like,
Me
that's
back-
What was the stuff? What were they getting injected with?
France was probably pee,
Oh, they're saying it might be roofies.
croissant dust.
Like roofie syringes.
me back in the day was like, why don't I ever end up at those music festivals?
Just in France, just like, on guard. I got you. I've injected you in the corazon.
Wait, wasn't this happening at the at Astro World as well? Didn't people get injected?
I think
There
everyone-
was something like that.
Astroworld was like Final Destination. Like everyone's dying for different reasons.
Yeah, people on TikTok have been talking about Astroworld again lately, and I
Really?
kind of want to do a retrospective on it and like really figure out what happened. Because there is a lot about it that people just never ended up investigating. Like the ambient music that they were, it wasn't even music, it was just
and
like
looked like a portal.
white noise. And Travis Scott like totally knew what was going on.
Yeah.
That
was the
he
last
played
happening.
dumb later. Yeah, I think Astroworld was the last thing
That was
that
the last
actually
true
happened.
happening.
So strange.
The other fear that my generation had when they were younger was that you would check for coins in a phone
Oh,
in
you
a phone
mentioned
booth,
this.
and there would be a needle in there.
No, that has AIDS on it.
That was a real
That
thing.
had to have happened once.
It had
for
to have
be a
happened
thing.
at least once. I mean, it was like when people would worry about razor blades and candy for Halloween. Like, who are these people just putting, or they put tainted candy with drugs in Halloween? Like,
But
who
it's
are the
like,
people who are just
why
giving
would
away
they do
free
that
candy
if
drugs?
they know that you're not going to eat the candy in front of them? You're gonna eat it at home.
They just want to know that
Just
they
for the
poisoned
sick
somebody.
thrill of it.
Yeah.
It's like RFK is like, I got to get it done somehow.
But the AIDS thing too, it's like you just want people to have AIDS.
And then how hard is that gonna be to explain? It's like, yeah, I got AIDS. Yeah, I was trying to call someone. They're like, yeah, right.
No, it's worse. It's like,
Like,
I
no
actually
one will
wasn't calling
believe you.
someone. I was looking for spare change in the coin return. So
Yeah.
not only do I have AIDS, I'm cheat.
I was trying to get on the bus, and then I got AIDS.
Yeah, man, that was something that people were actually scared of.
That's horrifying.
Like,
That's my only.
you like open, like you push it open to make sure there's not a fucking needle.
So bad.
No, and it's like before they inject you, they like grab you off the street, and before they inject you, they're like, no one will believe you.
Yeah.
That was a Dane Cook bit where he talks about knocking the ice cream out of a tiny child's hand and saying no. He's like, he's like, you just remember me forever. And he goes, the best part, nobody will believe him.
Yep. Gordon Shumway said, challenge accepted. Mary is crazy. Okay, call me crazy all you want. I'm sticking to my story.
So
I'm
what-
standing on business
Does
on the
anybody
beach.
know where the? Well, I mean, we could do that if we got a third crisis party. Does anybody know where the fear of the needle came from in the chat? Where that fear came
Because
from?
needles don't exist in nature, and they kind of remind you of a mosquito. It's called a proboscis.
So
Did you know that?
I wonder if somebody just put like a non-poison needle in there just to freak people out.
thing
like,
that- the thing that mosquitoes use to
Coward.
stab you and suck your blood is called their proboscis.
I didn't know.
Have you ever heard
Proboscis.
something so awful?
Tobuscus, probuscus. There's a lot going on.
Also,
Putting the
like,
dots together.
I wonder how they how they injected the Halloween candy with the drugs.
I always heard razor blades. I never heard about the drugs.
razor
aspect.
blades too.
But I mean, if it's like looks like it was homemade,
Well,
I would not eat it.
Well, like
It's
if
like
it was
Snickers written in crayon. You're
yeah, we didn't have 3D printers back then, and it
just tinfoil like Snickers. It's like the R's backwards.
spelled wrong.
Yeah.
Just a K.
It's like a
Let's see.
Chick-fil-A cow wrote it.
Adam
Yeah.
said Dr. Fauci was the one that set up those needles.
So it was all him. He was the one.
Dr. Fauci was
He was like trying to
Going
get more
around
research
Paris.
Job
funding.
security. What?
No, he wanted more research funding on AIDS, so he put a bunch of AIDS needles in phone booths and was like, "This is how we win."
I think like it was Dr. Fauci in France, like just stalking the streets, injecting people.
Yeah. Good
I mean,
the
maybe there's like an
weekend.
element of truth to it, where like they talk about how like when you're a kid, they're like, if somebody just comes up and offers you drugs, like you gotta say no. It's like, and people like me are like, where are these people just offering you drugs?
these
But
guys
that's a
sound cool.
real thing that happens because they do it to get you hooked. They're like, oh, here's a free sample.
It's like Costco. They roll a card up. Just Fent in there. Oh, well, don't mind if I do.
You come back with a different shirt on to get another free sample.
I'm back
You're not tricking me. So I wonder if anybody's and like a free sample person like wrote a book like Diary of a Free Sample Clerk.
Oh, dude, they're like, dude, those guys are crazy. They're like Marines. That's what they have to deal with. The human waste they have to deal with.
There's one
Gordon
more there.
Shumway said if the drugs in the candy was a real thing, there would be a lot more stoners trick-or-treating back in the day. I mean, yeah, that would be an incentive.
gets
Yeah,
to the
but the
point
only no. The thing is we lived in a shame society back then that shamed you out of trick or treating too late.
It just gets to the
True.
point where like the streets on Halloween are just filled with tweakers, just going door to door. There's no kids, just tweakers in like dog masks.
I mean,
Trick or treat.
maybe we needed a society full of addicts because we ended up with trunk or treat, and like if I have to,
I
if
will
I have to
always say
choose.
it. Fuck trunk
Trunk or
or treat. And you know, you're a Protestant, so you know trunk or treat,
Oh, I
right?
love. Yeah.
Like
did
I mean,
trick or
if
treat.
if the punishment for trick or treat is a bunch of kids on meth, then I guess that's a price I'm willing to take. I'm
Awful.
willing to
Trick or-
pay.
the trunk or treat at church is filled up with just drug addicts. Oh yeah, any more Snickers left?
Shane H. Wilder said Ronald Clark O'Brien is the origin of drugs in Halloween candy. He poisoned his son's pixie sticks for the life insurance. Okay, that's different. Because it's his parent who's doing it.
Yeah,
Not a
this isn't, like-
stranger.
so did some mom watch 60 Minutes and was
Yeah.
like,
No, back then, yes.
He poisoned his kid. What if somebody poisons my kid? They're like, well, they're not saying that somebody else poisoned his kid. He poisoned his own kid. Ma'am, are you going to poison your own kid? Well, no, but John Barker down the street always looks at us sideways when we take our garbage cans in late. You know, he's always filing HOA complaints.
There's just some 6-year-old kid in the coldest. Oh, you gotta try this pixie stick, dude. Oh, what a rush!
So he poisoned his son's pixie sticks. Awful.
Wait, why the pixie sticks too? Like,
easier.
out of all the, I guess, yeah.
It's easier, yeah.
Who cut my pixie sticks with Fent?
No.
We gotta start
Actually, what you do
The fun
you
dip.
cut the Fent with the pixie sticks for the people who are actually addicted to the drugs.
There's just 4-year-olds testing their pixie sticks for purity. Like, oh, what?
It's not pure sugar.
There's
Like,
sucrose
actually, no,
in here.
it's in the
Splenda in here.
it's in the fun dip. That's what it is.
The fun dip.
They
yeah.
keep mixing Splenda in it. They're getting like these 4-year-olds are just furious.
I'm telling you, all that is HOA Karens who are now
Oh.
like they're worried that John down the street is going to poison their son because she told him that his lawn was too long and he has to cut it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, please and thank you. Remember to share it out with your friends. So, all right, Tate.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RealTateBrown. I promise I won't declare any more happenings on there. I learned my lesson. Nothing ever happens.
He will, however, tell you if the candy is poisoned.
Yeah, I'll give alerts out if you're into that kind of thing.
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived, and help me get TikTok famous. That one is also Mary Archived.
In the chat, what did I just read? Somebody says, fill a pillowcase and eat on it for 6 months. If you're talking about the candy, like what if the drugged or poisoned candy is like the last piece after 6 months? Then you're just
On Halloween, I would always eat like all the candy in one night.
yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. All right, guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. The show's here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you'd like to listen rather than watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which always helps us out. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Mary, there's one more there.
Shane H. Wilder said there was a dentist who gave out candy-coated X-Lax. That is one of the only cases of someone poisoning other kids. That is psychotic.
It's horrifying.
So wait, so just because he's a dentist, he thinks that they shouldn't eat candy ever? And he wants to kill them?
That's
Or he cut a deal with the colon doctor.
yeah. That's.
I thought dentists were fine with candy as long as you brush your teeth.
I mean, if wouldn't the idea be that they're fine with it because it's going to
Damn.
bring them more business? They're like, yeah, here,
It's-
eat all of
Right,
the candy you
that
want.
too.
It's these radical dental fundamentalists are causing issues.
That's what it
It's
is.
insanity.
All right, guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see y'all then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.